Hello, chat. I'm still messing around with my audio settings in the hope that it'll put me off less when I get, shall we say, enthusiastic. Last week, there was a murder, and a kid named Wallace got arrested for it. But we don't think he did it. This week, we go to court to prove it. Good evening, Catnip. But before we start, I would like to discuss theories. God, that's annoying to pull off because it puts that on both of my monitors, so I have to tab back into OBS. Hello, Owl. Now, I did put this static filter there solely because I expected OBS to pull its bullshit on me, and it didn't, and I'm mad about it. But let us begin by discussing who killed Catherine Bellwether. Welcome to the start of the stream, Owl. First of all, who is Catherine Bellwether? There's a professor at this magical school, which I've completely forgotten the name of. She's a classist bitch. I think you will find she heavily discriminates against any of the non-noble students. How heavily do you ask? Everyone who has ever met her has a motive to kill her. She's the worst. The janitor, not 3 hours after her body hit the floor, went, this place is a lot quieter now that she's gone, am I right? She plans to replace the staff with robots, or she did before somebody fucking killed her. But what do we know? She was found dead in a pool of blood, but despite how much blood there were no wounds on the body. However, there were traces of necromancy. This is why Wallace was arrested. They think he sucked the life out of her. However, we know that this is because somebody tried to heal her from her actual wounds, but fucked it up and she died. Even the noble student she didn't discriminate against had motives, huh? Yeah, she fucking sucked. She had just been in a meeting with the headmaster that lasted for 1 hour before she was murdered in a separate classroom. And there were nearby traces of illusion magic. So, oh yeah, she was found dead in the alchemy classroom. What can we infer from the information we have? These are some things that have kind of occurred to me over this past week. The illusion magic that was there at the scene. I have been talking about it as if it was invisibility, which it very well might be, but I have a new theory. I think someone was disguised as her and walked into the classroom, and that was why the Catherine Bellwether that knocked over the vase and bumped into the janitor didn't say anything to him. The twins, who work in the kitchen. Now, the twins fled before we could cast Detect Magic on them until we did it later, and then she freaked out about the necromancy traces on her. But she didn't know about those traces on her, so she was hiding something else that she thought had magical traces. So what were they hiding, chat? Now, the headmaster fucked up the alchemy lab and left an awful stench everywhere. What's up with that, chat? There's definitely something relevant here. And, hey, did you guys notice that Eris's mind control is actually really similar to when Tyrion puts thoughts in other people's heads so he can read their mind? Anyway, moving on. Who done it? First theory, she did it. Now, there are some pros to this theory, chat, which is that we don't have any evidence that contradicts it. We also don't have any evidence that supports it. And it does leave a lot of unanswered questions. But as Catnip has posited, it's the funniest theory. Second theory. It was Ruby Tamora, our mentor. Now, why would Ruby do it? Because she has so many goddamn death flags that it would be an interesting twist if we were the ones to kill her by sentencing her to the death penalty for murder in the first degree. The cons of this theory... Oh yeah, she also doesn't have an alibi at the time of the crime. The cons of this theory are, of course, she doesn't have a motive. Surprising, I know. But the other major concern is that she's not an illusionist. So, let's move on to our third theory. Who is an illusionist? The headmaster. What does the headmaster have going for him? He's got the most motive. What with her whole sway over the, oh, I can never remember what it's called. The board, that's it. So he's got the most motive to give her the literal axe. Like, he explicitly did not like her. She's a fucking bitch, but he can't really rein her in because of the board. So, you know, shank, problem solved. He also met with her before she died. Or perhaps murdered her during that meeting. You never know. He's also an illusionist, and we know that an illusionist was involved in this incident. So, you know, there's that. There is, however, a small problem. Oh yeah, there's also the alchemy fuck-up. Forgot about that. And that is definitely going to be relevant at some point, chat. Small problem with this theory. He's the one who activated the lockdown, which means that when the body was discovered, he was in his office. And, I mean, that's not, like... It's not impossible for him to have committed the crime. It's a weak alibi. But it is an alibi. So our fourth theory is that the twins did it. What do we have going to accuse the twins? They're fucking sus as hell, chat. I saw them vent. They're hiding magic shit, they're running from detect magic. I've never seen both of them in the same place. They're on some bullshit, chat. Also, as mentioned before, the victim was, behaving slightly oddly before the body was found. Possibly she was poisoned and they were following her. Also, that thing they hid with the magical traces on it, that's 100% the murder weapon, right, chat? Just kinda seems plausible, especially since one of them is likely the one who tried to heal Catherine Bellwether. Now, the cons of this theory is that I can't prove they're illusionists. Yet. Theory 5 is that everyone did it. Now, there are a lot of pros to support this particular theory. The twins could have poisoned her, the headmaster could have stabbed her, we could have had all kinds of shit going on. Just everyone fucking dogpiled the bitch. And this would explain everyone's alibis, if they were all dogpiling the bitch. And I mean, Eris is like a brain-fucking people, and she explicitly wants to show me despair, so like, she could totally have brainwashed everyone into murdering Catherine just to fuck with me. But Agatha Christie will sue our asses if this is the case, so I don't think this is true. So theory 6 is that it's this bitch. Who is this bitch? They are the person who owns the murder weapon. Because Arya confiscated that from them. It's their rapier. Family heirloom. And they're a noble in the fuck nobles game, so like, am I right? The cons of this theory are, who the fuck is this bitch? She just turned up at the end of last stream. I don't even know her name. So, like, probably not her. In conclusion, you should be plain of the devil. I will be taking no further questions at this time. Alright, come on, there we go. Now OBS is pulling its bullshit. Yes, thank you, I appreciate the applause. Now that we're all well and truly recapped, let's get into it. Alright, it's time for the trial. Just take deep breaths. And relax. Hi, Tyrion. Celeste! Don't sneak up on me like that! I've been standing next to you this entire game, Tyrion. Why are you so nervous? It's not as if this is your first time defending someone. It's your second. I can't help it. There's something about this building that just fills me with anxiety. Oh, that's the anxiety generator. The what? They keep that in the basement. Wait, no, go back. We're talking about the... It's too bad Ruby couldn't make it. She's busy killing someone. What? I'd say that you should calm down for Wallace's sake, but... There are so many people here! And they're all staring at me. Their eyes are prying into me like a pack of flesh-eating maggots. Gross. Yeah, Tyrion, you wouldn't know anything about eyes staring into someone like that, would you? Would you, buddy? Nothing at all, huh? Don't worry, Wallace. Our investigation revealed a lot of weaknesses in the prosecution's case. We have a strong case for your acquittal. Okay! See? You can be confident when you want to be. It's strange. Something is calming about Wallace's anxiety. Thank God I'm not this guy. Flesh-eating maggots? That's a redundancy. All maggots eat flesh when given the chance. Shaking my head. What if he's comparing them to maggots in the act of eating flesh, as opposed to maggots who are in a neutral state, or consuming other matter? It's like he just absorbs the tension out of you and into himself. That's my secret technique! When I've absorbed enough anxiety, I'll cast my ultimate spell! I love how we're like watercolor blobs, but the audience is actually drawn with line art. Court is now in session for the trial of Wallace Nightgrave. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, for real this time. Very well. Let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges? The defendant is a student at Wyvern Imperial Academy. Oh, that's what that place is called. Mr. Nightgrave is charged with first-degree murder, negligent misuse of the arcane arts, and illegal practice of advanced necromancy. First degree? It was fucking Catherine Bellwether. Half the city had grounds for second degree, and you're charging him with first. Come on now, Arya. Did the grand jury not call you on this one? Necromancy? Do you mean to tell me the defendant is a necromancer? Killing her was basically self-defense. I can't believe it. A necromancer? In this day and age? How could the kingdom let this happen? Your Honor, I would like to remind the court they should view my client objectively. Of course, but one can easily see it from the list of charges. Necromancy plays a large role in the charges. Indeed. The crime occurred within the academy this morning. Fuck me, they took this to trial fast. Like, they were rushing Celeste's trial and she had a whole day. The victim is Catherine Bellwether, a professor at the school. Although there were no witnesses, traces of necromancy were detected on the body. Furthermore, the autopsy report shows that the body has no physical wounds. I see. Or rather, I don't see. There are no wounds to see. Necromancy is the only type of magic that can harm an individual without physically wounding them. Objection, illusion. Additionally, the alchemist report shows no signs of poison or disease. Except for her chronic bitchiness, but there's no cure for that. To be fair, Celeste's dad was murdered at night. I mean, like, I felt like we had longer than that. Therefore, one can only conclude that a necromancer had committed the crime. As many of you know, necromancy is held under high scrutiny by the Crown. Aside from the defendant, no other students were permitted to learn advanced necrotic magic. I did my fucking vocal warm-ups and they never help! As such, the defendant was the only mage in that building capable of committing the murder. I see. That is certainly compelling evidence. To properly present our case, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orem White to the stand. Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings. Yeah. It started when the City Watch got a call from the Imperial Academy. Someone was attacked, and the whole building was put on lockdown. We set up a perimeter around the area and waited for the lockdown system to deactivate. Took several hours. We ran out of donuts. When we finally got into the building, the prosecutor personally inspected the body and detected traces of necromancy on it. There were no cuts or bruises on the body either. The entire body was clean. With those two pieces of evidence, we concluded that it could only be the necromancer kid that did it. The Inquisition's testimony is just as you expected. You've already found and identified the holes in Steelwood's case. All you have to do is find that hole in the commander's testimony. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. I'm gonna have to start pressing statements because I'm not sure what they want from me. Time to this call come in, little after 3. How secure was this perimeter? Is it possible that someone slipped past you? The Inquisition was working in conjunction with the City Watch and the King's Guard. With that many people at the scene, it's very unlikely that anyone escaped unnoticed. True. For better or worse, the Kingdom will act quickly to protect a building filled with nobles. Why did the prosecutor inspect the body instead of the Inquisition? Well... How I conducted the investigation is irrelevant to the proceedings. Would you like to insinuate that I'm not as competent as Commander White? You don't question her competency, but it's still a bizarre decision on her part. While the court admits that the prosecution's actions are unorthodox, we do no reason to question the prosecutor's abilities. Thank you, Your Honor. Oh, I wasn't questioning that either. I just wanted to make fun of Orem White for fucking up that last case some more. Oh, in that case, go right ahead. How carefully was the body checked? Perhaps the prosecution missed something. The coroner couldn't find even the smallest cut, bruise, or fraction on the body. Furthermore, the alchemist... Yeah, you already said that. The coroner was actually astounded on how unscathed the body was. Makes sense. If someone had used mend wounds on the body, it would have healed even the most minor of injuries. The question is, how do you prove that? And the prosecution believes that my client used necrotic blight. Yep. It's the only way that the crime scene makes any sense. Necrotic blight? I've become British because I only had 2 words to get into the voice. I'm afraid that I've never heard of this spell before. Necrotic blight is a spell that drains the life force from its target. When used on a living human, it makes their bodily functions cease, instantly killing them. I see. What a horrible spell. I don't know, I think it's not nearly as bad a way to die as the last guy who got impaled by soda. That child should never have been allowed to learn something like that. What were they thinking? Ugh. I think that spell is not doing Wallace any favors. We already investigated the crime scene, so we know the Inquisition's theory contradicts one of the clues that we found. Right. All I have to do is present that contradiction to the court. Yeah, obviously. I'm just not sure how to, convey it. entire body was clean. Blood splatter.
Objection!
Objection! You're full of shit! Commander White, it appears you've neglected to mention one key detail of the crime scene. Yeah? And what's that? During your testimony, you said that the entire body was clean. I will admit that there weren't any wounds on the body. However, the body was certainly not clean. At the scene of the crime, there was a large pool of blood located where the body was. This blood came from the victim's body, and it was definitely not clean like the commander testified. I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but I fail to see the significance of this. I'd like to remind the court of the prosecution's case against my client. They're accusing him of murdering the victim using necrotic blight, a spell which would not have physically wounded the victim. So why was there any blood at all? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The fact still stands. There were no wounds on the body, nor were there any reports of poison or disease on the autopsy. So we can rule out the twins as having poisoned her. There are clearly magical elements in this case. I'm not arguing that! Lock in, Arya! But Catherine Bellwether was bleeding profusely at some point. How else would there be a bloodstain on the body? Do you have an explanation for that, Miss Steelwind? No. I'll admit that the prosecution doesn't have an explanation for that. And while I do find the circumstances questionable, all other evidence clearly points to the defendant. Which spell would leave a trace of necromancy? If the victim wasn't killed with necromancy, why was there a trace of it on the body? I'm glad you asked. I'd like to present a spell that could have left a trace of necromancy on the body. No. Yes! Mend wounds! Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that a healing spell? That's correct, Your Honor. Spells from the School of Necromancy can also control the forces of death and life. Mend wounds is, in fact, a necromancy spell. Really now? I wasn't aware of this. Now I'd like the court to consider the following. What would happen if Bellwether was wounded, and someone attempted to heal her using Mend Wounds? All of her wounds would disappear from her body. I see.
Objection!
Fuck! How is the judge not aware? They mentioned last stream that healers don't talk about the fact that healing magic is necromancy because it's, got a reputation. And this is just like a judge. He is not the judge specifically for magical crimes. So if this situation hadn't come up before, he'd have no reason to know. The thing is, I don't understand how this exact situation hasn't occurred before. I'd imagine it would happen a lot, actually. Do you really think I'm that incompetent, Mr. Cuthbert? Frankly, I'm a little insulted. What? The Inquisition is well aware of what happens when a mage attempts to save a victim using Mend Wounds. The healers that arrived at the scene already confirmed that the victim was long dead. None of them attempted to heal her. Well, what if someone tried to heal her and didn't report it? Please. None of the healers would have anything to gain by doing so. In fact, as a necromancer, the defendant could have easily carried out the described scenario. He could have cast Mend Wounds on the victim after murdering her to confound the investigation. That's a dumb thing to do. Like, are you saying he would stab her and then cast necromancy on her to pretend to frame himself? At the end of the day, the burden of proof is on you. If you could just find out who healed the body, this case is yours. And whoever this healer is, Valentina definitely knows her. Your Honor, I will admit that I don't have any evidence to support my theory. However, I do believe we can bring it to light. There may have been two people that witnessed someone cast magic on the body. Valentina and Valerie Yanis, the sisters who discovered the body. This is nonsense. We've already questioned those two witnesses extensively. If they had witnessed something like that, it would have come up in their testimony. What if they lied to you? If that's true, then you have nothing to lose by hearing their testimonies. Very well. If you're so confident,
Let's hear the witnesses' testimonies.
It seems the prosecution has no objections, and we just do what we want in this court system. However, if this line of questioning leads nowhere, I will see no reason to further prolong this trial. You understand, Mr. Cuthbert?
Of course, Your Honor.
Oh, jeez! I don't remember what voices I was doing for these guys, so,
Oh, crap. It's that guy from before. Is he the necromancer's lawyer?
She just got on the stand and she's already stressed out. This could work in your favor.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. My name?
Witness.
There's no need to be so nervous. We merely want to hear about what you saw on the day of the murder, which was today. Right. It's just that guy over there.
You mean Mr. Cuthbert? Did this man harass you, witness? Wait a minute.
Yeah! He, super harassed me.
How shameful. I would expect a member of our justice system to behave more professionally.
Oh, shut up.
Anyways, please state your name and occupation for the court, Miss Yanis.
Just calm down. He can't prove anything. My name is Valentina Yanis. I'm a member of the kitchen staff at the Wyvern Guard Imperial Academy. As I recall, you were one of the witnesses who discovered the body. Apparently, the defense finds your involvement suspect.
Don't take this personally, Miss Yanis, but I'm starting to find it suspect too.
Rest assured, Miss Yanis. In this courtroom, you will be protected from Mr. Cuthbert's harassment.
Ugh.
Now please testify to the court what happened that day. Yeah.
I get the feeling they're not going to like it if I start pressing statements this time.
I was walking with my sister in the West Wing when we noticed something in a nearby classroom. We looked over to see what it was. That's when we saw Miss Bellwether bleeding on the ground. My sister tried her best to help her, but the professor had already lost a lot of blood. While my sister did that, I used an emergency communication device to call for help, but it was too late. By the time her bleeding stopped, she'd already lost too much blood. If your theory is true, that means she just lied in her testimony. She's definitely holding something back.
She's definitely some more than she's letting on. You just need to prove that somehow. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Bleeding, I want to press that. Miss Yanis, how exactly did your sister try to help Miss Bellwether?
What? I slipped up! My sister used first aid to try to stop the bleeding.
I see. Could you please add that detail to your testimony?
Yeah, sure.
There's definitely something there, but I'm not sure what. Oh, I forgot. She did actually say something when she walked by him, so that wasn't an illusion either. What wound? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm just not sure what to say about it. Am I presenting the spell again?
Objection!
Oh, that was correct. Oh, shit.
Witness, what is the meaning of this? What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Maybe I can elaborate, Miss Yanis. You weren't present in the gallery earlier, were you?
No, I was waiting in the lobby. Lady Steelwind told me to wait there.
Well, I suppose I should consider myself lucky. You see, Miss Yanis, one key element of this case is that the body didn't have any wounds on it.
Yeah?
So please explain to the court, Miss Yanis. How did Miss Valerie apply first aid when there shouldn't have been any wounds on the body?
What? Oh no, I screwed up! But I saw that wound on her. What happened?
There's clearly something amiss here, and I'm afraid I don't fully understand the implications of this. Are you accusing the witness of committing perjury, Mr. Cuthbert? When someone lies, they stay as close to the truth as possible while changing minute details. In her thoughts, Valentina said that she was sure she saw a wound on Bellwether, and she also mentioned that Valerie was the one that tried to save the professor. If she didn't try to save the Bellwether with first aid, could she have used magic instead? Her sister could be the mage that you're looking for. The witness was lying, Your Honor, but not about everything. Valerie Yanis did try to save the victim's life by addressing her wounds, but she didn't use first aid. She used magic.
No, he found us out?
Objection!
Fuck!
I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but your theory is completely flawed.
How so, Miss Steelwind?
Well, it's quite simple. We've already verified that neither of the sisters are mages.
What? Wait, how can you be so sure?
During the investigation, we had both the Yanis sisters attuned to a spell compendium.
Fuck! Shit! That was my plan.
It's standard procedure for the Inquisition when interviewing witnesses.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
Then that means... That's correct. Neither of the Yanis sisters could attune to a compendium. That's right. The Inquisition checked us both. Neither of us are mages. Phew, that was close. Damn it. Are you wrong about Valerie being a mage then? No, that can't be right. Thought said he found us out. That means you were on the right track. Valerie has to be the mage you're looking for.
Celeste, is it possible for a mage to hold a spell compendium and avoid attuning to it?
No, it just needs to be on their person. When I was arrested, the Inquisition also made me attune to one of their spell compendiums. They were really careful to make sure that I did the attunement correctly. There's no way a mage could avoid attuning to a compendium with them watching you.
Right. Commander White may be negligent sometimes, but even he isn't that careless.
Now, if you're done, I do believe you've exhausted all your options.
Wait, I'm still not done cross-examining this witness.
What could you possibly hope to glean from her testimony?
Valentina should be stressed out enough to see through more of her thoughts, but you can't exactly say that you're planning to read her mind. There's one key element of her testimony that the court is overlooking. I have a right as an attorney to complete my cross-examination.
Your Honor, the defense is clearly trying to buy time.
I might be compelled to agree with you. However, I'll also admit that some elements of the witness's testimony are quite peculiar. I will allow the defense to perform one more cross-examination.
That was close.
But know that this is your last chance, Mr. Cuthbert. If you produce nothing substantial, I will pass my verdict.
Of course, Your Honor.
All right, it's all or nothing.
If you can't find anything by reading her mind, this whole case is finished. Witness, please give your testimony once more. Okay. Damn it. How long does he plan to keep me up here?
The twin swap would be interesting.
I was definitely surprised when I saw her like that. Like I said, my sister and I saw Miss Bellwether bleeding on the ground. We rushed over to her. Now that you mention it, I don't know if I saw any wounds on her, but I definitely saw blood on her. Can't go back on that now. I just need to play dumb. My sister tried to save her, but she didn't use any magic. Valerie, you're too kind-hearted for your own good. Neither of us is a mage. Both of us held that book the knights gave us. I was caught on guard when they asked us. They almost found us out. The commander was watching us the whole time. He can confirm it. It's a good thing that we're twins, or else that trick wouldn't have worked.
Well, you called it, Catnip.
What are we going to do? We have pretty hard proof that Valerie isn't a mage.
Valerie is the mage we're looking for. I'm sure of it.
I'm just not sure why they felt the need to lie to the Inquisition. And more importantly, how did they trick the Inquisition?
It is the whole point of twins. I mean, you're right. But it's also a clever place to see that come up. Interpret? What the fuck?
Objection!
Interpret? What? What am I doing? Miss Yanis, your thoughts betray you.
What?
You found the thought. They must have done something, but what? Must have happened when Commander White was interrogating them.
Orm was the one who collected their statements.
Did he notice anything off about their behavior? Right.
From what he said, they had a few quirks, but nothing too suspicious.
I'm giving her the wrong voice. Quirks?
He told me that they were running and spinning around him during questioning.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. Perhaps they were still on edge after finding their coworker murdered.
Running and spinning. Her thoughts also said it's a good thing that we're twins. How did the fucking... There's about to be another murder in chat! Got him! Ayo!
That means that their so-called trick wouldn't have worked if they weren't twins. How did the twins trick the Inquisition? Valentina switched places with Valerie.
Clicked off of places with at some point. Hello, Halerin.
Of course, they switched places. Valentina attuned to the first spell compendium, then she pretended to be Valerie to attune to the second one. Commander White couldn't tell the difference between them. Miss Yanis, there's something I want to confirm. During the investigation, both you and Valerie attuned to a spell compendium, am I correct? Yeah? That knight watched us do it. And how did he have you do this? Did you both attune to those compendiums at the same time? Or did you attune one after another? What? I fail to see how that makes any difference, Mr. Cuthbert.
Yes, I agree. Spell compendiums would work regardless of what order they went in.
You may not be aware of this, Your Honor, but Valentina and Valerie Yanis are identical twins. Which means that their physical appearances are nearly identical to each other.
Don't worry, Halerin, you haven't missed much.
So how is Of the Devil, by the way? If Commander White didn't have them attune at the same time, what would stop the twins from switching places with each other?
Objection!
Mr. Cuthbert, what the fuck? This is clearly nothing but baseless conjecture. Orm wouldn't fail at such a basic task.
Really, Prosecutor Steelwind? Do you find it hard to believe that Commander White would fail at a task like this?
Wait a minute. This is crazy.
What the fuck is the ending of that prologue? I'm gonna be honest with you, Halerin. I saw it coming, and so did my brother. This jazz is sick, though. Halerin, what if I told you that it gets even better in Chapter 1?
We didn't trick the Inquisition. My sister and I are not mages.
What did I miss in this trial so far? We've proven that Necrotic Blight couldn't have been used to cast the spell because of the wounds, so we called up the twins who found the body, and I am now trying to prove that Valerie is a mage who casts mend wounds. You haven't missed as much as you think you did, because I spent the first 10 minutes in a PowerPoint presentation on the case so far.
Then prove it, Miss Yanis. Bring in your sister and we'll have you attuned to 2 spell compendiums at the same time. No, wait.
Order in the court. It's clear that we're going to get anywhere unless we test the defense's theory. I've become British. I'm so upset about this. Did you make the PowerPoint presentation? Do you think I just found one that recaps the first investigation phase of this case? I don't actually know if there's more than one investigation phase, but I would believe it. Hardest I laughed in the last 3 days? Glad to hell. Bailiff, escort Valerie Yanis to the stand and bring 2 unattuned spell compendiums.
They've both had their hands on those compendiums for the last 10 minutes. There's no way they can fake it in front of this many people. All right, it's the moment of truth. You can only hope that your theory is correct. No! Did he seriously?
What is it, Prosecutor Steelwind? What do you see?
What I see is Commander White seeking new employment in the near future. It appears that the defense was correct. Valentina Yanis isn't a mage, but Valerie Yanis is.
Salary-cutting noises! Not Commander White, who fucking hated me on sight for the crimes of someone else. I love Arya Steelwind, so do I. She's so fascinating as a prosecutor antagonist. I was about to compare her to Emma Rockford from Of the Devil, but that's not really true at all. Like, they're both competent, but that's about where the similarities end, but they're both really good. At the rate he's going to be paid to work by the end of the game. With the quality of his work, I mean...
What's more, Valerie Yanis' compendium contains the Mend Wounds spell, which makes the defense's theory entirely plausible. Please, just allow me to explain. We should allow you to explain what, exactly? You're an unregistered mage, and you and your sister have made fools out of all of us with your perjury. How would you know what it's like, Lady Steelwind? You think we didn't notice your name? You're not like us. You don't have to hide. Whatever. This whole situation has gotten out of hand. I didn't think hiding it would cause so much trouble. And I won't let someone go to prison because of me, even if he is a necromancer. Please let me testify about what I saw. I'll tell you what really happened that day.
Very well. You realize that was this morning, though, right? Am I crazy? Mr. Cuthbert, am I going senile? No, that was this morning, apparently. That's true, but we can at least cover the fact that, Rockford isn't the same kind of optimist, or rather idealist, that Arya is. Commander White needs more character development before he's allowed to get sympathy? Correct. But understand that there will be repercussions for your actions, witness. That's not fair, Valerie hasn't been a witness yet.
Yes, I know. My sister and I were walking in the hallway from the kitchen to the foyer.
I always say it foyer, chat, don't get mad at me, I'm going to do it.
Then I suddenly spotted the professor lying in a pool of blood in a nearby classroom. Valentina used a communication device to call to help. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her.
Nope, you fucked up that line. Perjury. Guilty. Send her to jail.
No, wait! I saw that she was bleeding, so I cast Mend Wounds on her to close her wounds. But it was too late. I closed the hole in her stomach, but she was already dead.
There was a hole in her stomach? Well, it had to be somewhere, Your Honor. Your Honor, as you can clearly see from the witness testimony, the trace of necromancy was left by the witness, not my client. What's more, it's clear that there was a physical wound on the body. I see. Well, his words trail off. He clearly doesn't want to pass a verdict when there's no clear culprit, but he has no choice. The case against Wallace is predicated on Bellwether being killed by necromancy. I know they're setting up for me having to prove that who it really was. It would be so goddamn funny if I win the case right now and we just move on. Where was the hole in her clothes? I don't know, they took the body away. With Valerie's testimony, the prosecution doesn't have a shred of evidence implicating him. Very well. The court sees no reason to prolong this trial. With these new developments, the court has no choice but to find Wallace Nightgrave not—
Objection!
Fuck!
I believe that the court is ignoring one key detail of the witness's testimony.
What would that be, Miss Steelwind?
Let's re-examine the witness's testimony. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her. I saw that she was bleeding, so I cast Mend Wounds on her to close her wounds. But it was too late.
Oh. Is that what you're arguing? Really, Arya? Is that what you're going for? Are you serious?
The communication device that Valentina Yanis used logs the time of day during each use. From this log, we know that Valentina used this device at 3:04 p.m. This was an hour after the time of death.
Where are you going with this?
Mr. Cuthbert, there was a witness who saw the victim before the body was found. Jan Hughes. He, along with another witness, spotted Bellwether walking in the hallways before the body was found.
Yeah, I know. Where are you going with this?
20 to 30 minutes before the body was found. Do you see the discrepancy, Mr. Cuthbert?
Wait, that can't be right. Bellwether died more than an hour before the body was found. So how did Yen see her half an hour after her death?
I wonder, Mr. Cuthbert. How could one make a dead body move and walk around?
No, you can't mean...
There was more than one piece of evidence that pointed to a necromancer committing the crime. The defendant murdered the victim and used necromancy to animate her corpse.
An undead created within the Imperial Academy? How reprehensible!
That's ridiculous! She had a hole in her stomach when the twins found her. Jan Hughes would have noticed that. Animate corpse stops the flow of blood, so she wouldn't have tracked blood anywhere. The defendant is also proficient with illusion magic. He could have easily used an illusion spell to hide the undead Bellwether's wounds. But another party could have easily used illusion magic to disguise themselves as the victim. If that were true, how did they move the body to the classroom?
Miss Steelwind, if your theory is true, it would mean that the murder occurred elsewhere. Would the Inquisition happen to know where?
Regrettably, we do not.
I mean, you're not wrong, Halerid, but she did have at least a decent rebuttal for that. Like, I'm not saying her case is airtight, but she has a case, which is more than I was expecting, to be honest. Then the prosecution's case against my client is still faulty. You can't convict my client without more evidence. I agree with Mr. Cuthbert. With these new developments, the court sees fit to suspend the trial for the time being. We will give law enforcement time to investigate these unknowns. Court proceedings for this case will resume tomorrow morning. Court is adjourned. Get the fuck out of my house. So that's how they're setting up for the next investigation segment. Yeah, that was a shorter trial segment than I was anticipating, to be honest.
Hey, are you feeling okay? A body is seen moving around an hour after death. It clearly wasn't Bellwether. Or at the very least, she wasn't alive when this happened. So what was it? Tyrion? There's illusion magic involved. There has to be. Which spell was it? Could it have been illusory disguise? Tyrion! Ah! What? You've been quiet since the trial ended. You were making me worried. Sorry, I was just in my mind palace thinking about what Steelman said. You mean about her theory? It's a little creepy when you think about it. Do you really think someone turned the professor into an undead? I don't think so. The prosecution's case is hinged on one clear fact, that Wallace was the only high-level necromancer nearby. We have to assume that he's the only person capable of using that type of magic. Then how is she walking around? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It's a given that Wallace didn't touch the body, so we can discount the use of high-level necromancy. No matter what, someone used an illusion. But aren't there spells that can create freestanding illusions, not just disguises? I honestly don't know. I need to talk to someone who knows about that type of magic. Wait, didn't Eris say that she was studying illusion magic? She might be able to tell us if something like that is possible. Is that really a good idea? Was the necromancer magic? I keep saying that because I'm doing it for the bit, but then when I break character, I do it anyway. Was the necromancer magic sped all over the body or just in a localized area? I think it was all over the body, but as far as I'm aware, that's just kind of how all magic works when it leaves traces. Fuck, not her.
Well, think of it this way, Catnip. We know that Eris isn't the murderer of this case, so we can't talk to any of the other illusionists we know, because they might be the killer.
What do you mean? What if she's the one who created the illusion?
What?
Detecting fear from her again. Celeste, are you scared of Eris? What? No! I saw it this morning, too. I just get really scared when she's around. Oh. I thought I was doing a better job of hiding it. Sorry, it's not based on anything real, but for years I've been working as a mercenary. When you do that kind of work, you build up an instinct to sense danger. You kind of have to if you want to stay alive. Sorry, I never knew. Tyrion, I fought literal monsters and barely escaped with my life. But when I'm near Eris, none of those creatures come even close. I get this feeling. It's like I'm in front of a predator that I couldn't ever hope to beat. Every instinct I have tells me to run whenever she's close by. It's like these messages at the top left corner of the screen that freak out, and I don't like it.
Really?
She doesn't seem that dangerous. I know. I think maybe I'm just anxious or something. I should know better than anyone, not to judge people by their appearance. Sorry, forget I said anything. If you think we should talk to her, then we should do that.
You're not one to discount Celeste's instincts. She's always been reliable. And if Eris is making her scared, that must mean something. But if Eris really is that dangerous, then that's all the more reason to talk to her. She did mind-wipe the headmaster right in front of us. She mind-wiped a lot of people right in front of us. Owl, were you not here last week? I don't quite remember. Because, Eris did some fucking shit. But aside from... Oh, that's Tyrion. But aside from that, there was something else that the prosecutor said.
Mr. Cuthbert, there was a witness who saw the victim before...
Yeah, Jan Hughes. Wait, along with another witness? What the fuck? She said, along with another witness. That means there was another witness that saw Bellwether walking around.
Right. Ian probably isn't the most reliable witness.
So, Owl, were you here for the first stream? Because of the first stream, Tyrion had like a weird dream sequence in which someone was like mocking him and wanted to see him in despair and had been like waiting for the moment that shit would kick off and she could fuck with him. That was Eris. Yeah, that was Eris, a student at the mage school. And she keeps saying suspicious things in front of people, and then when someone goes to call her on it, there will be like a glitching effect on the screen, and then that person will say something else instead. Like when she offered to help with research and Ruby Tamora tries to shoot her down and then goes, well, alright. She pulls out a spell compendium. It's like, any mage that holds on to these will attune to them. And the headmaster goes, then why didn't he attune to you? Oh, no, I'm so glad you had one of those. This will help Wallace a lot. She's really fucking bad at maintaining her cover, but she can just mind wipe anyone, so it doesn't matter.
So, talking to that other person might help us figure out what happened? But do you think Steelwind will tell us who that witness was?
At this point, we won't lose anything by trying. In any case, it looks like you have your work cut out for you. So where should you start first? Here. Oh, good! That's what I wanted to see! When you said glitch, my feed stuttered. You can't just escape her, Owl.
Tyrion? What are we doing here?
I'm not sure. For some reason, you felt drawn to this place.
Wait, Is that Eris?
Celeste points further into the cemetery. There you see Eris standing in front of a gravestone. She's placing flowers on it and appears to be chanting a short prayer.
Well, we found her.
We should probably talk to her later. It would be rude to disturb her now. As you're about to leave, Eris fucking jump scares you. She's far away, but you can see her beckoning you over. So Eris definitely called us here. I don't know how, but she did. But I'm glad that we're here, because Wallace spends a lot of time in this cemetery.
Oh, hello there. Were you two looking for me?
Sorry, we were looking for you, but we understand if you'd rather talk later.
No, I was just finishing up here. Did you have something you wanted to talk to me about?
Well, I wanted to ask you some questions about the case. Get me the fuck out of here. Oh, I can't leave this time.
Really now? I can't tell you everything you need to get through this case. What would be the fun in that?
Okay. I love how she's implying my fucking defense attorney badge is relevant to the case. Don't really have anything I need to present to her, I think.
That was my first time watching a court trial. You were truly remarkable.
Thank you. Were you in the gallery?
I've always enjoyed watching physical battles in the theater, but I see now that battles of wits can be just as entertaining to watch.
Entertaining?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You see that the odds are stacked against him. Then he suddenly pulls out this crazy deduction and steers the trial in his favor.
I've never really thought of it like that.
But I'm sure it's far more entertaining to be the one making the deductions. Isn't that right, player of this game?
I'm not really sure what you mean. I practice law so that I can help those persecuted by the justice system. I don't really do it to entertain myself.
But is that really true? Don't you find the experience even the least bit entertaining, Tyrion?
Did you just mind wipe me because you made a pose that you thought was slightly weird? Really, Eris? You've done that pose for me before. You didn't have to pretend you didn't. Did she actually say player of this game? No, that was me ad-libbing. I wouldn't really put it that way.
You're far too modest. You save people from the clutches of death. To your clients, you may as well be a knight in shining armor.
Earlier, you said that you were studying illusion magic. He's doing it just to irritate us, I swear to God. Genuinely possible.
I am. Did you want to ask me about the prosecution's theory?
Yes, actually. How did you know?
It was easy to guess after seeing you in the courthouse. Anyways, disguising an undead with an illusion is definitely possible. And, as Lady Steelwind said, illusory disguise would be the best spell to use for that.
What if someone created a freestanding illusion?
A freestanding illusion?
Yeah. We know that Wallace didn't animate and disguise the professor's corpse. So what if the illusion wasn't disguising anything? Maybe someone created a freestanding illusion of Bellwether walking around.
For something like that, one would probably use major illusion.
Illusion is purely visual and can't be physically touched. Knocked over the vase clearly isn't the answer. Miluzo! What if I just immediately present her with Major Illusion? Damn. Oh well.
What is it?
I don't think Major Illusion is what we're looking for. Oh, thank God. He's competent. I knew that, but I still panicked for a moment. Does animate dead require concentration? Oh shit, that's a good question. No. No, it does not. Good call, though. Do you remember what Yen said? If that bellwether that Yen saw was Major Illusion, then she couldn't have knocked over that vase. Too traumatized by Phoenix Fright? Yeah. But maybe with the combined powers of Tyrion, Cuthbert, and of the Devil, I will be able to experience media where detectives are competent. It was a good guess, Halloran. Illusions created by that spell don't have any mass.
I see. How perceptive of you. Aren't there any other illusion spells that do have mass? No. Illusions can only recreate visual and auditory sensations. There isn't a single illusion spell someone can touch. But does that mean that someone disguised... So that means someone disguised something to make it look like Bellwether. Why the look of suspicion, Celeste? Sorry, I wasn't... Calm down. I'm only joking. We won't be facing off until the final case, after all. I don't blame you for considering every possibility. In fact, I'm flattered you think I'm capable of pulling off such an elaborate ruse.
Anyways, this does tell us one important thing. Definitely team they put an illusion on the magic armor. Oh! That's a good shout! Hold on. No, not that. Wanted him to be quiet. Command given to a construct is stored in the command log. Speak in the voice of Catherine Bellwether. Voice lines can only be changed or adjusted by the Academy Headmaster. I don't think I have evidence for it, but he met with her before the murder. Yeah, Catnip, I think you got it!
What's that? The bellwether that Yen saw had a physical mass to it. It wasn't a...
Oh, this is Tyrion. Fuck! It wasn't a freestanding illusion. It was someone or something disguised as Bellwether. Oh, it's actually easier to see here outside, but, like, the white hair she has when she does her, like, JoJo pose, that's just the inside color of her hair. You can even see it here behind her neck. Tyrion just got possessed, it's fine. Now I'm the main character. Eris Ilmater, attorney of the Arcane. I'm the protagonist now. Come on, Celeste. We have murders to solve. I thought it was a veil. I guess it could be a veil. But I mean, like, with the anime art style, I just absolutely did not question the idea she had two hair colors.
It's quite a shame, isn't it?
So expensively at the gravestone. The name on the stone says Emily Grant, and her lifetime appears to be awfully short. She must have been only 12 years old when she died. Oh yeah, you're right, it does have the hair texture. Sorry for interrupting you.
Was she someone you knew? Not personally. I'm actually here on Wallace's behalf. Wallace knew her? Wallace joined the Academy as part of a program run by Headmaster Redmond. At the time, Headmaster was reaching out to mages among the common folk.
Headmaster Redmond? Someone with the last name of Grant? Chat? Chat, is this Echoes of Star Song again?
He had started a program to admit these mages to the Academy without having to pay tuition. Both Emily and Wallace were among those mages, if you follow the lumen, Tyrion. Oh, that must have been an amazing opportunity for them. The truth is, neither of them actually cared about learning magic. The real problem was that Emily had a terminal illness. She and Wallace were poor orphans, and they obviously didn't have the resources to treat it. But if they enrolled in the Academy would be obligated to give her medical treatment. The Imperial Academy teaches the best mages in the kingdom. They thought that curing her illness would be an easy task for the Academy's healers. But they were mistaken, I'm afraid. I'm sure you know this by now, but healing spells can only treat wounds. They can't cure illnesses. Emily's condition only got worse over the years, and eventually, she succumbed to her illness. Wallace was furious. He didn't understand why the kingdom was outlawing magic that could save lives.
And that's why he decided to learn it himself.
Yes. The headmaster was inspired by Wallace's resolve. He gave him access to the Academy's forbidden domes of necromancy. And Wallace taught himself the spells that he knows today. So that's why.
Can't believe Wallace is going to invent cure disease. What a lad. I believe in him.
It was supposed to stay a secret between him and the headmaster, but I thought it would be a funny prank. But I'm sure you know how that turned out.
Okay, I was kidding about her doing it as a funny prank, but now I'm not so sure. Chad, if you freak out every time she does the screen glitch thing, we're not gonna get anywhere. Well, that's been fun. Bye. Yeah, I kind of said that one preemptively and noticed none of you were doing it until Halion did it.
There's still a lot we don't know. Yeah, we know that Wallace didn't kill her. Did the true killer really murder her there?
Wait, you'll need to go there to find out more. I had a key smash ready and drank my tea instead. God, there's something really funny about that statement. I had a key smash ready and drank my tea instead. Sounds like it should be a reaction meme. I do appreciate that this game has a hint system where you can just talk to Celeste and you'll find out what you need to do next. That's just really nice.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Cuthbert.
Steelwind, what are you doing here?
After what happened at the trial yesterday, I decided it would be best to start my investigation here.
Right. Wallace was in the library for the entire morning, so it makes sense that she'd start her search here.
Actually, since I have you here, have you seen Eris Ilmater anywhere? It's my understanding they're both acquainted with each other.
Eris, what do you want with her?
It's not for anything serious, mind you. It's just that oaf of a commander lost her
I forgot. The Inquisition would have made a spell compendium for her because they questioned her with everyone else. And as we established in the trial earlier, they get everyone a spell compendium when they question them. So that's how Eris got one for Wallace. Wouldn't fucking surprise me at this point.
Now we need her to produce another one for our records. If you see her, please let her know that we'd like to speak to her. We saw her earlier in the cemetery nearby, but I have no idea where she is now. Once again, I have to compensate for that idiot's mistakes.
Anyways, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case.
Very well. Suppose I still need to honor our deal from earlier.
Yeah, that would make sense if she mind-wiped White into letting her go and then just held on to the compendium. Yeah, this one isn't on Commander White, but to be fair, who expects this 16-year-old girl to be wandering around mind-wiping people? The funniest bit about her wandering around and mind-wiping people is that this has no bearing on the case. She's doing it for the love of the game.
If you had any luck finding the scene of the crime, unfortunately, I haven't. From the witness's testimony, we have a rough idea of the route Bellwether took, but none of the rooms we've checked have any signs of a struggle. Why are you so sure that a struggle happened? I'm mainly basing that off the Yana sister's testimony. Valerie, in particular, noticed that the bleeding came from a wound in her stomach. Regrettably, the body's wounds were mended, so we can't determine what kind of weapon the murderer used.
Prepario Arcanum.
Well, there's nothing there. Okay, so yeah, there's new dialogue for all the interactions in the library. Oh, I didn't click on anything in the cemetery. Whoops. What's up, Belle? Okay. What did she do to you? Well, chat, Owl died.
The Scaled Lord Rathalion is said to be the source of all arcane magic. It's no wonder that he's such a large part of our culture.
The library's full of books for educational purposes.
It's too bad they don't have any fictional books.
You looking for a novel to read?
Yeah, I was hoping they'd have some mystery novels I could read.
You like mystery novels?
Of course! Why do you think I like this job so much?
Never really been a fan of the mystery genre.
What? But your whole career is about solving mysteries.
Yeah, exactly. It's exhausting. When I read a novel, I just want to read about simple fantasy stories and classic heroes. I guess that makes sense. It's called a work-life balance, Celeste. Don't know if it actually saved or not. I've definitely made a highlight of Eris in the last stream, so that exists somewhere.
What about you, Sealwind? I don't really have time for such things.
Globe of the world, at least how many nations there are aside from Ivengard, and most of these places. Yeah, this is the same dialogue.
Isn't traveling through the border heavily restricted? Don't worry, I won't report you. I can't exactly blame you for wanting to leave.
That's interesting. That's the most negative that Arya has ever been about Wyverngard or the justice system. That's interesting. Let's look at a table. Same dialogue as before. Okay. Okay, nothing new there, and I don't have anything new I can present. Except Major Illusion. And she doesn't give a shit about that. During the trial, you mentioned that another witness saw Bellwether walking around yesterday. Would you be willing to tell us who that person is?
I'm sorry, but I can't tell you that.
You're caught a little off guard. You've been pretty transparent with your investigation so far. What's changed?
I have no obligation to justify myself to you, nor do I have an obligation to help the opposition. Didn't we have a deal? That information doesn't exactly seem fair to us. I believe I've given you plenty of information already. So regardless of what I said before, the answer is still no. Family's dangerous. The Eye of Horus catches a stray thought from her. Her family's dangerous. What does that mean? Is there something about this witness's family that you're worried about? Shit! No, this could be a feint. I'm sorry, but you'll have to try harder than that if you want to bluff me. You refer to the witness as her. The nameless noble who owns a rapier? Oh, it has to be the nameless noble who owns a rapier. There's no one else it could be. But I'm still not convinced whether or not she's the murderer, considering we've never spoken with her. Furthermore, she said that her family is dangerous. Why would she go to such lengths to hide the witness's identity? In any case, it looks like she's not willing to share more at the moment. Maybe you should try looking somewhere else. A locker room? Actually, first I'm gonna go to the cemetery. Nope, Eris is still here. Right for an individual you don't know. Best to leave it undisturbed. Oh. That's Emily Grant. Shame she died so young. You briefly say a brief prayer. You briefly say a brief prayer to Bahamut. You briefly say a brief prayer to brief Bahamut. Detect magic. Oh, thank God. I've been doing it everywhere, but it would have been really fucked up if I got a hit. You spend some time wandering through the academy when you overhear a conversation from a nearby room. From what I understand, Miss Steelwind has already moved the investigation elsewhere. How long must I wait before I can retrieve my things? Sorry, old-timer. Orders are orders. Nothing comes in or out till this case is over and done with. Commander White, and the headmaster too. Why is it that the headmaster looks younger than Orem when he's, what, 20 years older? Oh, hello, Mr. Cuthbert. Hey, kid. In any case, there are other matters I must attend to. Please inform me when I can reclaim my things. Sure. Skincare? I mean, you got me there. One of them's rich. It looks like Commander White is standing guard in front of this locker room. And it doesn't look like he's conducting any sort of investigation. Is he here on Steelwind's orders? Might be able to tell you about who this secret witness is. I was going to use Detect Magic, but sure, game, whatever. What was the headmaster talking to you about? Supposedly, he has some items stored in one of the faculty lockers. Problem is, Steelwind said no one gets in or out of this room. Except for her and you two, apparently. She won't even let the other knights in here. Really? Is that normal? Nope. But things rarely are when she's calling the shots. Why would she give you access to the crime scene if she wasn't even letting the knights in? Don't know what her deal is. She's been acting strange lately. She's been real paranoid, that girl. Frankly, I can't tell what's going through her head. If only I could read minds. You know anything about that, kid? Let me cast Detect Magic! You mentioned that the prosecutor's been paranoid lately. You think there's something to do with this case? Nah. Started way before that. Mainly she's been using the Inquisition to investigate a lot of non-magical homicides. What? Wouldn't it be easier to work with the relevant law enforcement for that? I don't know why. She's convinced that these cases have magic involved. We scanned each and every one of those crime scenes. Nothing turned up. I gotta say, though, if it weren't for the scans, I might actually agree with her. Why do you say that? Those homicides. I haven't ever seen anything like them. They're probably some of the most screwed up cases I've ever handled. In one of those cases, we had ourselves a disgruntled spouse.
Found out that our man was going along with the barkeep. Do you know what the spouse does? She stalks the poor woman. She starts leaving threatening notes all around where she worked. The barkeep told the city watch all about what was happening, but the cops didn't do shit. And one day, the barkeep arrived home. Little did she know, the spouse was waiting there for her. Poor lady never had a chance. Then to tie the whole thing together, the spouse waits for the husband to get home. He cooks him a... Fuck me! Christ! He cooks him a big roast, using the barkeep's remains. Well, that's... fucked. Like... Okay, that case is fucked, though, but... What made him so sure that magic would have been involved, other than, like... He said that if it wasn't for the scans... But... Didn't realize Alfred Hitchcock was back from the dead? Oh, that's just what we need.
Wow, that story is pretty...
I know. Steelwind thinks someone's developed a new type of magic that can control people's minds. Chat. I'm going to level with you. We have bigger problems than Bellwether right now. Chat. When I suggested that Eris brainwashed people into murdering Bellwether, I was fucking kidding. This is taking a bit of a turn, chat! And these homicides were some kind of sick test run. Magic that can control people's minds.
Wouldn't Mageblight make more sense?
Mageblight?
When a mage overuses their magic, it can have a pretty bad consequence on their mind. They temporarily lose grip of reality and begin seeing things that aren't there. When a mage becomes like that, it almost never ends well. They enter a frenzy and begin firing spells randomly, which only makes it worse.
I've seen my fair share of Mageblight cases, and this isn't like that. Not all of the perps were mages, and the ones that were didn't even use their magic. One thing was that each of the perps almost seemed to wake up after we arrested them. All of them said things like, "It wasn't me," or "I didn't have a choice." They didn't have a choice? What could that mean? I doubt it means anything. Sometimes people can't face the things they've done. It's easier to say that you had no control than to take responsibility. I think I know what the final case is going to be, proving your own innocence in a case and proving that Eris brainwashed you. Counterpoint. Eris brainwashes Celeste into killing Ruby Tamora. I pointed this out during my slideshow presentation. But Eris's mindfuckery is actually very similar to the powers that Tyrion has with the Eye of Horus. Not the mind reading, but the awakened form he had during the end of the first trial. He could implant thoughts in people's minds in order to get them to think on certain subjects so that he could read the relevant thoughts. But what if you pushed further than that? I posited that Eris was using a similar technique to mindfuck people. It sounds like I was right on the money. But the question is, why is she interested in Tyrion? She knows Tyrion has the Eye of Horus, because she was in our dreams back in this first case. And she's developed an interest in Tyrion because of that. But what's the end goal here? Make him like her? I don't know. Anyway. You wonder if you can mislead the commander into revealing who the secret witness is. During the trial, Miss Steelwind mentioned that someone other than Jan Hughes saw Miss Bellwether walking around. You seen them around lately? We wanted to speak with them. Nice try, kid. Well, it was worth a shot. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. I don't think anyone other than Steelwind knows who this witness is. I sure as hell don't.
What? She's even hiding it from the Inquisition commander? Why is she being so secretive? Looks like the commander doesn't know who the secret witness is either. This isn't getting us anywhere. Steelwind's behavior is strange, though. Perhaps you could try analyzing her behavior. If you do that, you might be able to find a way to convince her to help you.
If Steelwind's caught on to that there's mind control, it's possible that she's not telling people information specifically to avoid potential leaks. But that's not necessarily relevant to the case at hand. But it's good OPSEC anyway if she suspects something like that.
She's hiding elements of the case, even from the commander. Anyone can tell that she doesn't have much faith in him. I'm standing right here. But this is the first time I've seen her hide key details of a case from him. What is motivating Steelwind to keep secrets? There has to be a reason why she's being so secretive. Paranoia. Her actions must be driven by paranoia.
Even without the mind control, White is not exactly reliable. I mean, he's usually better about, like, not just telling me shit.
She's been hoarding information about the case. There's only one reason why she wouldn't utilize the Inquisition like she usually does. It's because she doesn't trust them.
I hate to say it, but that doesn't really surprise me. She's always been standoffish with us.
But there is one exception. Who has Steelwind trusted for this case? There are individuals who she's trusted more than the Inquisition during this case. Tyrion and Celeste.
What are my other options? Wall! What? Oh, I'm so glad I checked.
She let us investigate the crime scenes without any restrictions. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Does she really trust us that much? I don't think personal trust is the reason. Why does Steelwind trust us this time? We don't usually interact with her, and she's worked with the Inquisition on plenty of cases that we weren't even involved in. Let's see. It's gotta be... Or is it Steelwind is capable of...
Oh! There's an idea.
Difference between us and the Inquisition.
Okay.
Isn't controlled by the nobility. Steelwind doesn't know much about us. But she does know that we aren't prone to noble corruption. Right, you indicted a noble during the last case. Meanwhile, the Inquisition usually bends to the nobility's whims.
Well, I can't argue with you there. I mean, I fucking told you that I did that shit last time we talked.
What can you infer about the secret witness? Using my insight, I can tell that she's worried about the witness's family. She's worried about corruption from the nobility that can only mean one thing.
Wow, I wonder if it randomly determines what these options are. Because this is the second time it's just fucking given it to me. But also, I could just say that shit.
The witness has to belong to a noble family. That's why she's so wary of interference. But we're obviously not going to do anything corrupt. Why is she hiding the witness's identity from us? I recall seeing a thought through the eye. Family is dangerous. I think she's worried about our safety.
Yeah, I guess harassing a noble could put you in danger, but
I'm the protege of the infamous Ruby Tamura. Yeah, it's not as if we aren't already on the nobility's bad side. I'm sure the Pierce family still has it out for us.
excuse me.
This can only mean that the family we're dealing with is even more powerful than the House Pierce. If the prosecutor is wary of them, they could even be as powerful as the Steel Winds.
Wait. Don't tell me you think we're dealing with one of the Four Pillars!
4 Pillars?
It's a name people use for the top 4 noble houses. These families stand at the top of the kingdom's aristocracy. If I recall correctly, the 4 Pillars are House Frega, House Von Sanctus, House Sybil, and House Steelwind.
Steelwind is one of them? It's a part of one of them?
Yeah, which makes it so much weirder that she's serving as a prosecutor.
What is it?
Steelwind's weird behavior all started after she investigated this room. We were at the crime scene, and she left to follow a lead. But an hour later, she came back to the lecture hall and booted everyone out.
Her behavior changed after investigating this room. That means that she found something here, and that something must point to a family from the 4 Pillars.
The commander looks a bit anxious. I know. Steelwind's orders say I can't snoop around here. But you two, on the other hand... Don't worry, just leave it to us. I have some school records that say which locker belongs to which student. You can use it to tell whose locker you're looking at.
Oh, there's an arcane construct in the back here.
It's probably here to aid the students. Anyways, I don't think it's relevant to our investigation. Fucking wrong. Fucking wrong. Try again, Tyrion. Penalty from the judge. Try again.
Perhaps you should make a small note of it anyways.
I'm still leaning towards the headmaster doing it, but I'm not ruling out Eris fucking with him. Oh. So something I've been wondering since Eris showed up is that why is she a student at this school? It just seems a little too convenient that she's involved with everything, don't you think? Like she's friends with Wallace. She was in the library at the right time. Is it possible that Eris isn't even a student at this school? Is it possible that Eris had not stepped foot in this building before this morning? How the fuck did she dodge the spell compendium? Eris isn't a mage. Eris isn't a mage. Tyrion isn't a mage. They're called supernatural phenomenon. It's not a spell. It doesn't work with the usual rules of magic. Detect magic doesn't notice it. The Eye of Horus is completely unrelated. Eris's mind wipe thing, if that's the Eye of Horus as well, it wouldn't be a mage. That's why the spell compendium didn't work. She didn't have to dodge shit. But it would be awfully suspicious for a non-mage to be at the Mage Academy, so she mind-wiped Orym and walked off with the compendium. She implanted the memory of Wallace having his nameplate swapped with hers and becoming friends? Yeah. That's totally in line with everything we've seen from her in the Eye of Horus. She could have easily done that. Holy shit. You used the legend the commander gave you. Look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. Fuck. 3 of them? Oh, shit. Well, let's look at Wallace. Fragrant, liquid, and a... Huh.
I didn't expect Wallace to use stuff like this. It does seem strange, but it's not your place to judge. Anyways, you should try looking through the other lockers. There's the legend the commander gave you. That has to be Eris's locker because of the nameplate switch. So it's kinda... fragrant liquid. Oh, I guess it's like perfume. I thought it was like the shit from the alchemy classroom. No, that's just Eris's makeup stuff. Well, we are no closer to solving the current murder, but we've made significant progress on the overarching plot. Oh god, what if she's why the innocent person from Tyrion's backstory got convicted? You guys keep calling her a god? I'm not sure if she is one. She could actually be 16. And, like, the nobility was corrupt long before she got here. She had nothing to do with Garrick Pierce. Open the locker with Miriam's ID number. Stack of worn-out textbooks and notebooks. Wait a minute. These notebooks all have Wallace's name on them. You open the notebook and look through its pages. It appears to be research on the art of necromancy. These are Wallace's notebooks. But why are they in Miriam Frega's locker? Did Miriam steal his things? What's going on here? You and Celeste check the locker more thoroughly. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute! Tyrion, take a look at this! That's blood! That's not Eris's locker. Wait, we're using the legend, right? So we're not, like, looking at the nameplates on the locker, right? You open Jaden von Sanctus' locker. Several bottles of this transparent lotion. There's nothing but lotion in here. Oh. Wonder why a student need this much lotion? You take one of the bottles to inspect it more closely. Oh, wait, Tyrion! Don't touch those with your hands. It's some kind of sanitizing liquid. It's a little strange, but it doesn't seem to be related to the case. Why does Jaden von Sanctus have a locker full of hand sanitizer? That's true. Lauren Sybil's locker. Find some textbooks and a neatly stacked deck of tarot cards. Oh, it's like those cards that fortune tellers use. I wonder if the student uses divination magic. But anyways, I don't think this is related to the case. So Miriam Frega has to be the one. We found a few things, but I can't really make sense of any of it. We should look at this from the prosecutor's perspective. Steelwood found something in one of the lockers. Whose locker had the most suspicious evidence? And whatever that was, it made her extremely paranoid. It was Miriam Frega who had the bloodstain. No matter how we look at it, we found some insanely suspicious things in Frega's locker. It had Wallace's notebooks and even some blood. That blood is certainly strange. It implies that something bloody was stored there. Do you think someone stole it? No, actually. I think it was Steelwind who took it. Oh, right. Laura mentioned that she investigated this room. She must have taken the bloody item as evidence. That would be the rapier that she mentioned at the end of the last stream. But with that said, there's something else that's strange about Miriam Frega's locker. It had a lot of Wallace's possessions. It's possible that she really did steal those items from him, but it's more likely that this locker isn't actually hers. Remember what Wallace told us before? Sometimes other students would steal the ID number off of my locker, and they'd switch it with the number of another locker. They thought it was funny whenever the student who had owned that locker got angry with me. So someone switched the nameplates? This means that this isn't Miriam Frega's locker, it's Wallace's. But that would mean that the bloody object came from Wallace's locker. It appears so. Somebody switched his nameplate with Frega's. Frega, in her panic, put the bloody rapier into the locker without realizing that the nameplates had been swapped and that she was actually putting it in Wallace's. But if that's true, why didn't Steelman present the bloody item during the trial? I proved that Bellwether was wounded before Valerie healed her. Wouldn't that have been the perfect time to present what she found? There was a bloody item found in the defendant's locker, after all. She could have easily proved that the nameplates were switched too. Right, that is weird. There's something more to this that you aren't seeing. But what? I think we'll just have to ask Steelwind ourselves. So I still think it was the headmaster using the robots. But I am curious why it was Frega's sword. Thank God she's our Edgeworth. Yeah, it's great having, like... She's such a fascinating prosecutor for a game like this. I'm not over it. Probably shouldn't tell him about that. Anyway. Oh, you're back. We've uncovered a few things during our investigation. Miss Steelwind, are you acquainted with a student named Miriam Frega? I underestimated him. I said it before, Mr. Cuthbert. I won't fall for such an obvious bluff. It's not a bluff, Miss Steelwind, and I'll prove it using the evidence we've gathered. Oh shit. Steelwind is paranoid, and for whatever reason it's due to the involvement of Miriam Frega. If you could convince her to reveal why she's being so secretive, she might give you more information. You've been behaving strangely, Steelwind. Even the Knights of the Inquisition have noticed. Please, just tell me. Why are you being so paranoid? I'm not sure what you're trying to imply, Mr. Cuthbert. Nothing about my behavior has changed. I've approached this case objectively, just like I have with every other case. Where's the shit that he just sold us? No. Oh, I have these. How long have I had those? Oh, here it is. You've ordered the Knights to stay away from the crime scene, and you've even taken it upon yourself to conduct the investigation yourself. That is not normal behavior for a prosecutor. I took those actions because the Inquisition is incompetent. How could I possibly trust them with anything? The Knights are incompetent, but even you can see the value of delegation. During Celeste's case, you still delegated tasks to the Inquisition, and you could have easily investigated the McCoy Tavern yourself. This academy is huge. You wouldn't conduct your investigation this way unless you had a good reason. And why don't you enlighten me? Why would I act in such a way? What would cause me to behave so strangely? You know that the Inquisition is corrupt and will bend to the nobility. So, what would happen if a powerful noble were publicly involved in this case? With that noble's influence, they'd probably order the Inquisition to conceal their involvement. A high-profile noble is involved in this case, Steelwind, and I believe that noble is Miriam Frega. Again with this. Do you think you can bluff me by throwing out the names of random nobles? Not every noble is a malevolent criminal like Garrick Pierce. I've said it before and I'll say it again. My investigation doesn't involve the Fregas. Nothing about this case has anything to do with House Frega. Then how do you explain this, Miss Steelwind? The commander told us that you were following a lead in the locker room yesterday. We investigated the lockers of students from the Four Pillar families, and we found stains of blood in a locker with Miriam Frega's ID number. And it was presumably left by a bloody object. Oh, he was looking at the number on the locker and comparing it to the number on the list. He didn't have, like, a map. Yeah, that makes sense. Fuck. The bloody object was taken by someone. And we heard that you became extremely paranoid after you found something in the locker room. If I had to guess, I'd say that you took that bloody object as evidence. And what evidence do you have to support these outrageous claims? What? The only thing you have is evidence of a bloodstain. There's a myriad of explanations for that. Everything else you mentioned is pure speculation. You can't prove that piece of evidence exists. I could have found any number of things in that room, or possibly nothing at all. Okay.
I can't threaten her. I don't have any kind of leverage that would be more than what Frege could bear. No, I'm not going to appeal to her. I need to rationalize. Oh, yeah, that'll fucking do it. You found an object in the locker with Miriam Frege's nameplate on it. If you don't present what you found to the court, I'll have no choice but to pull the owner of that locker onto the stand. That's ridiculous. We both know that the locker in question belongs to Wallace Nightgrave. Can you unequivocally prove that, Miss Steelwind? Because the way I see it, there's a lot of room for doubt there. Enough doubt for me to pull Miss Frege onto the witness stand. What if I had more context? Maybe I wouldn't have to resort to that. Fuck. Well played, Mr. Cuthbert. I suppose I don't have a choice, do I? Just leaves. Oh shit, I didn't actually mean to do that. Just walked out. Just so we're clear, I wasn't acting to protect the nobility. But I'll admit that Miriam Frege was the other witness that saw Bellwether that day. I see. I had some suspicions, but there's also another matter. Steelwind looks uneasy. When I was investigating the body, I found this. Oh! Oh no! Shit! Chat, that's a motive! Uh-oh! What the? It looks like Miriam's been cheating at school? But why would Bellwether have something like this? From the way it's arranged, I think it might have been blackmail. That's what she had that got the council. Not the council, like the... You know what I mean. The school board. That's how she had that leverage over the school board. She's been blackmailing the board. Miriam Frege is considered a prodigy in the practice of conjuration magic. She's won a litany of awards, and she will most definitely graduate with honors. If these files were to reach the public, it would absolutely ruin her reputation. Do you think that the professor was trying to threaten her? It appears so. When I discovered this, several elements of the case were still unknown. I decided to look through her belongings, and I mistakenly looked through the locker with her ID. I found this in that locker. That is not a rapier, and it doesn't have blood on it, but props for trying. It was reported stolen by Miriam Frege weeks before the murder. Okay. So, I'm pretty sure that Miriam is not the killer. It's very likely that this is the murder weapon. This rapier is a valuable family heirloom for House Frege, and a few weeks ago, Miriam reported that the rapier was stolen from her room, and then it was found in Wallace's locker. Not that I'm complaining, but why didn't you present this in court? To be honest, I'd like to avoid involving House Frege by any means necessary. I knew it. You're just protecting her, aren't you? Miss McCoy. Do you recall how Wyvern Guard's justice system works? To acquit a defendant, you need to unequivocally prove that they didn't commit the crime. To do that, they either need a solid alibi, or we need to prove that someone else committed the crime. What do you suppose will happen if you bring Miriam Frege onto the stand? House Frege won't allow one of its members to be indicted in a court of law. They'll plant and forge evidence to implicate your defendant, and they'll use the Inquisition to do so. So that's why you've been keeping them away from this investigation. Can't you do anything? The Steelwinds are powerful too, aren't they? I don't have the support of my house. Right now, I'm just a prosecutor, nothing more. Steelwind, you know that this isn't fair for us. Just do nothing and let us win, Celeste. If we can't go after Miriam, then you can at least help us save Wallace. I'm not going to do that. Why? What if Miriam Frege is the real killer? Her sword is the murder weapon, and Bellwether was trying to blackmail her. I seem to recall another case where an innocent person's sword was used to frame them. That's...
As a prosecutor, it is not my place to decide who's guilty and who's not. I won't engage in corruption, even if it's to counter corruption from another noble house.
I can kind of respect this rationalization. Like, Edgeworth had his thing in the first game where he was like, I must get everyone convicted or the guilty will go free. This makes way more sense and is way more interesting. And like, yeah, she's right. She's 100% right. She is fulfilling her duty in the justice system to the best of her ability. I can't dispute that. She's doing the best she can with a shitty hand.
I'm sorry. Do you know where Miriam is right now? Didn't you hear what I just said? You can't let her think there's even the slightest possibility you'll indict her. She'll bring the entire wrath of House Frege down on you. Regardless, I can't do anything for Wallace unless I know everything that happened. Frege has the last piece I need to put everything together. Well, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? Her dormitory is room 107. I imagine that she'll be there considering that classes are suspended. Thank you, Steelwind. If I don't tell you, I'm sure you'll probably just find out using some other means. But please, Mr. Cuthbert, be careful. The door leading inside seems a lot more ornately decorated than the other dorms. You go to knock on the door, but you don't realize it's only partially closed. As your fist comes into contact with the wood, you accidentally push the door wide open.
That's a fun pose.
Excuse me? How dare you barge into my room? These insects have no respect. Sorry, I meant to knock, but... Construct, remove these hoodlums from my room.
Acknowledged.
In the corner of the room, an arcane construct stands and starts making its way towards you. Before you can protest, it raises its fist to hit you.
Ooh. New Celeste pose.
You only have enough time to raise your arms and brace yourself for the impact. You close your eyes and wait for the blow, but instead you hear the clang of steel against steel. Confused, you open your eyes and see Celeste standing between you and the construct. Her sword is drawn and she's using it to block the construct's fist.
My bodyguard is earning her pay, chat!
Upon taking a closer look at Celeste, the student stares curiously at her. Construct, stand down.
Acknowledged.
I'm terribly sorry for that. I wasn't aware that this was your servant. Celeste looks angry, but puts away her sword without a word. I haven't noticed you around campus. Are you a new student? If she is a personal attendant, she must be important. What?
You see an opportunity. Yes. My master just enrolled here recently.
What?
Celeste gives you a puzzled look, but you make a silent gesture back. After a moment, she seems to realize what you're doing. We love competent protagonists!
Yes, I just started here. I take it you're Miriam Frege? Yes. I'm honored that you recognize me.
Yeah, Arcane Art Conjuration. She's definitely not the killer.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss... I'm Celeste.
Celeste, she catches herself and pauses for an awkward moment.
Steelwind. I'm Celeste Steelwind.
You can't believe her. There's no way she's going to believe
Steelwind? It's a pleasure to meet such another member of such an esteemed house. She must be from a branch family. Maybe I can use her.
I got out of the shower to see this.
Wait, she's actually buying this?
The fucking quotes around her name! That's so fucking good!
Oh, and I've only just noticed that her occupation is updated to bodyguard.
So the thing is, we know Celeste is a noble. Because she has magic, and almost all magic is used by the nobles. We don't know who she really... Well, we know who she really is. We don't know what family ditched her. Freyga's a ditz? I mean, like, Freyga did assume it was like a branch family. So it's not the... Yeah, the name tag updated. The fact that she believed it is kind of surprising, but, like, it's not the worst rationalization. She's also extremely proficient at learning. Yeah, Celeste's kind of terrifying like that.
Seeing as you're a top student in the field of conjuration...
Yes! Well, there's no backing out now.
Arcanum.
Casually casts detect magic in her room. It's an extravagant bed. Looks like Miriam lives pretty well here. I'm noticing a color palette. It's a dresser. Probably be a bad idea to take a closer look. Table for guests. Doesn't seem like it's seen much use until now. I could do it, chat. I won't, though. That would be stupid. Miss Freyga, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions about... Excuse me? I don't believe anyone has permitted you to speak. Oh, here we go. Celeste is still smiling, but you can faintly hear her grinding her teeth together. So, we heard about what happened to Professor Bellwether. I can't believe it. Yes, it's quite tragic what happened to her. She's always been an acquaintance of House Freyga. She appears to be more receptive to Celeste. Might be better to let her take the lead on the questioning. We heard that you saw her on the day of the murder. Could you tell us more about what happened? Oh, you heard about that from your relative, did you? If you don't mind me asking, why are you so interested? She's not like Arya, is she? Oh, you know, I'm just curious is all. You know how uneventful life can be sometimes, being a noble and all. Alright, tone it down. Oh, is that all? I was worried you were going down the same path as that poor confused Arya. What does she mean by that? But I'm in the middle of a study break anyways. I suppose I have some time to sate your curiosity. Construct, please prepare some tea. Use that lotus tea we imported from the Eastern Kingdoms. She could still be useful if I can win her favor. Lotus tea? Acknowledged. Lotus tea? You have lotus juice? You feel like you're slowly losing control of this situation. I'm loving this chat. I'm loving every moment of this. Where did this happen? I was in the hallway when I saw her coming out of the headmaster's office. She was heading towards the library. What? Oh no. Matt! I guess that's possible. Buddy, did you ever have control of this situation? Let him dream. Do you remember what time this happened? I'm not really sure, honestly. It's a little embarrassing, but I have a bad habit of getting too absorbed in my work. Sometimes I'll let entire hours pass by without noticing. Do you have a rough idea, at least? That was him, right? Yeah, she didn't cut him off this time. Hey-oh, progress! I think it was in the morning. She thinks it was in the morning. But anyways, did anything seem off about her? No, it was a short encounter. I merely greeted her, and she responded in kind. Or at least that's what should have happened. I thought just now. What does it mean? You slowly glance to Celeste and catch her attention. With small motions, you shake your head to indicate that Miriam is holding something back. She saw Bellwether before she stopped by the library to bully Wallace? I'm not actually sure. Based on the map, she would have gone past the library to get to Lecture Hall 2B, which is where she died. or where the body was found anyway. So it's possible that that was the time that she saw her. It's even possible that this was the same bellwether, in quotes, that Hughes spotted.
I heard she was pretty mean towards the other students. Towards the riffraff, maybe, but not to students like us. She was a great ally to House Frege. At least she used to be. That's why we were planning on appointing her as the new headmaster. Wait, what did you just say?
Yeah, I thought so. I'm not sure Miriam knew about the blackmail.
Did you just say that your family was going to appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster? Oh, I'm surprised you didn't know. House Frege holds several seats on the Academy's board. We were making plans to have her replace that lout Redmond.
Oh, excuse me. Gonna sack the headmaster?
Did Headmaster Redmond know about this? Oh, of course not. This was part of a large-scale plan. Along with Redmond, we were going to replace all of the staff with arcane constructs.
Have I heard the name Frege before? Were they the ones who built the arcane constructs, or am I crazy?
We had to keep everything under wraps, or else the help would have left prematurely. And where would that leave us?
Yan supposedly overheard Bellwether talking about the constructs. Did Bellwether prematurely reveal the plan? Was Yan lying about how he found out?
But alas, with Bellwether gone, we'll have to delay our plans. So, we heard that Arya took your rapier as evidence for the case. Can you believe her? She still won't give it back to me. My father will have my head if I can't get it back soon. How did it even become a part of the investigation anyways? I don't know. Arya won't tell me anything. I swear, if that necromancer was the one who stole it, I'll execute him myself. So someone did steal it from you? Yes, from right out of my room.
Is it possible? No. Come to think of it, like, I assume that the sword was stolen as part of an elaborate murder plot, because of course it was. But it was stolen weeks ago, chat. That would imply that someone had been planning this murder for weeks. And that just doesn't feel right. I don't know, there's something I'm missing here. About a few weeks ago, I noticed when I came back from one of my classes, someone removed my rapier from its display case in this room. How did they get into your room in the first place? Do you think someone used magic to teleport past the door? Please, I'm a master of conjuration magic. If someone attempted that, my enchantments would have shunted them out. How many weeks ago did the headmaster have that alchemy accident? Wasn't that long ago. I thought it was only like a couple days ago. Shit, I didn't mean to progress the dialogue. No, it was weeks ago. This means that the thief came through one of the doors or windows. I bet it was that necromancer. I'm sure a street child like him just knows how to pick a lock. They come out of the womb that way, you know. This'll be a fun talk, chat! I've heard that you're one of the Academy's top students. Your grades must be amazing. Of course. As an inheritor of the House Frege, my grades are impeccable. It feels good to have my greatness recognized. I noticed that too. Miriam doesn't know. Miriam doesn't know. Her family's been covering and doing this shit to keep her grades high behind her back. Obviously, Halloran, Bellwether's been blackmailing the people on the board with this information. We established that part. I'm just... Oh, that's... I feel bad for her. Oh, man. That's strange. You don't see anything contradictory through the eye this time. You make a gesture towards Celeste to continue pressing her. Oh, what kind of magic do you study here? You must be joking. I study magic from the School of Conjuration. Just like most members of my house. Goddamn Sebastian de Best bullshit. I'm not calling him Eustace Winner. Now I really want you to present the item to her. The School of Conjuration. That's the type of magic that specializes in spatial manipulation and teleportation, right? Yes. I consider myself quite the expert in that field. Why, the Crown Prince himself has asked for my assistance in a research study. It's nice to work with someone of my caliber. Again, you don't see any thoughts that contradict what she's saying. Does that mean she's not lying? She's smart enough to get the Crown Prince's attention. Why would she be cheating? She might go straight into denial and not recognize it. To be honest, I don't think he would present it. It seems like it would be a stupid thing to do. You said something about my wayward relative before. Are you talking about Arya? Oh, I'm terribly sorry if I offended you. But I'm sure it must pain you to see the way she's been acting lately. Yes, it's, been extremely hard. Hang in there, Celeste. God, this scene is so funny. Did you know that she even interrogated me about the murder yesterday? Can you believe it? A Steelwind, running around a crime scene like a common knight. Why, if I tried something like that, my father would disown me. Does the nobility not approve of Steelwind becoming a prosecutor? You always thought that it is strange. What is motivating her to do this? Honestly, she probably thinks she can do anything just because of her Her what? Her what? This conversation has taken so many turns. Aster deserves better. Celeste's eyes perk up upon hearing this. You'd be lying if you weren't also curious about who this Aster is. But you shoot her a stern look that tells her to stay focused. You can't risk blowing your cover for some gossip. I'll be honest, I think gossiping would strengthen your cover right now. You have an arcane construct in your room. I thought they only had them in the library and the locker room. This construct was a gift from House Von Sing. Who's Aster? We don't know. Now, I don't know the complex politics of this particular city, or kingdom, I suppose. But I feel like if I was the heir of a noble house, and another noble house gifted me a robot, I'd be suspicious. Von Sanctus was in fact the one who had a locker full of hand sanitizer. I have to say, they're quite convenient to have around. They look really cool. Maybe I should get one. You should. A construct would be far more useful than this attendant of yours. Unfortunately, there are still some issues with their intelligence. Their intelligence? Well, yes, we plagiarized large amounts of training data, and they keep saying stupid shit. It's the dumbest things you'd ever seen in your life. There are issues when you give them complex commands. It might be easier to show you. Miriam turns to the construct and begins gesturing towards it. Construct, please retrieve my textbooks and bring them here. Then cast Steelwind Strike into this location. After that, retrieve some plates and set them out at this table. Acknowledged. What? Where did the chat box go? What do you mean? Hand sanitizer. Halloran. I'm pretty sure that you can't use hand sanitizer to hide a blood stain. I could be wrong. I was laughing at the mental image of someone with, like, a bottle of it trying to desperately to hide a blood stain on, like, the floor, which is why I was laughing, not at what you said. That mental image related to what you said got to me. But, I don't think that works. I think you need something stronger. What the fuck do you mean hand sanitizers in Canada have a high concentration of alcohol, which makes them a very good stain remover that will work on anything from a pen to food spills to blood? That's fucked. Apparently it works on blood, or not blood, sorry, I meant fabrics. I don't know if it would work on other... I don't know what surfaces it works on, but apparently you can use hand sanitizer to get blood out of fabrics. Which makes more sense than what I was picturing, which was some poor bastard with, like, one of those, bathroom sink spray bottles, desperately shooting it onto the floor and trying to wipe up a blood stain. It depends on how dry the blood is, mainly. Like, yes, obviously, you'd have to try do it right away. It would be a great murder thing if the bot was programmed to kill Bellwether and frame Frege, and the whole thing went sideways because of the unintended introduction of the necromancer magic. Blood on your hands? Well, now I'm trying to decide how it would work on your hands. I've never had hands soaked in blood, chat. But I feel like running water would be more effective. But I guess that also depends on how fast you get to it. And, like, yeah, if it started to stain the skin, then I could see where hand sanitizer would be useful. But anyway, back to this robot, which definitely hasn't murdered anyone. You've had hand-soaked in metaphorical blood from your fanfics? That's not true. Most of the people I killed do not- oh wait, no, shit, sorry. One person is an outlier that left enough blood for everyone who burned to death. Now when you rip our hearts out, that's not on me. Construct stands and retrieves the textbooks. It brings them to the table you're sitting at, just like she ordered, but then it suddenly stops moving. Wait, what happened? The construct obviously can't cast Steel Wind Strike, so my second command was impossible to carry out. But did you notice something else? It ignored your third command, too. Correct. My third command was possible to carry out. So why did it ignore that command? Constructs execute a series of commands in the order that they are given. But let's say one of those tasks is impossible to complete. When the construct gets to that task, it will deem the entire series impossible to complete. As a result, it will stop executing the series altogether. So if a task in a series of commands is impossible, then that command will interrupt the sequence of commands. Exactly. Oh, I don't like that that's evidence. Lady Steelwind, I'm afraid we must leave now if we want to make our next engagement. Oh, right. Let's go. Servant. Oh, leaving already? It was a pleasure talking to you. Yeah, sure. I hope to see you around. We are in so much trouble, chat.
You make your way back to the foyer with Celeste. With all the time you've spent, you only have a brief amount of time before night falls. Are you sure you didn't want to talk to her more? You were getting a lot out of her. We already got a lot of useful information out of her. The more time we spend with her, the more likely she is to see through our ruse. Right. So, why Steelwind?
Did you get a chance to present stuff to her? I did, and I did not take that chance. Because I thought it would be a bad idea.
I don't know. I panicked. Arya is like the only noble I know.
What about Pierce?
I am not using that creep's name.
Well, hopefully Steelwind doesn't mind us borrowing her name.
And we got her statement on what she saw that day. Oh, and we got her statement on what she saw that day. There's also what she said about her rapier. I bet she was lying when she said it was stolen. She was probably trying to establish an alibi.
I'm not so sure.
Why do you say that?
Doesn't it feel too obvious? If she was lying about the rapier being stolen, that would imply she planned all of this in advance. But if she had to choose a murder weapon, why would she choose something that literally has her name on it? I'd understand if the murder was a spur-of-the-moment decision. She might have just used something nearby in this case. But if this was a premeditated murder committed by Miriam, that rapier would be the last weapon she would choose.
Right. I guess that makes sense.
Oh! That was the plan. I've got it. The headmaster wanted her off his back and wanted the board off his back, and he did it in a single fell swoop. Her leverage over the board came from the Frege house. So he murdered her and framed Frege for it. He stole Miriam's sword and planted the sword in her locker. Or it was supposed to be her locker. But it had been swapped with Wallace's. And because Valerie tried to heal Catherine Bellwether, it accidentally framed Wallace instead. Miriam was the real fall guy the whole time. That's what happened. The murder weapon was even left at the body with Frege's name on it. Or no, it was left in her locker, sorry. The evidence of the blackmail was left at the body. Yeah, and then the twins fucked it up. Why was she scouted by the prince if she's not smart? That, I'm not sure about. I mean, with her grades being forged, it's possible that the prince believed that she was smart. It's also possible that she actually is competent at conjuration magic. The headmaster was trying to look into Frege's locker? Oh, fuck, he was, too! Shit! That staff locker thing was the excuse. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Hey, Deus, what's up, Al? Frege could be competent in conjuration magic and shit at everything else. I guess that's possible. What do you think the odds are that the blackmail papers were altered? That would make sense, actually. If the plan was to frame Frege from the start, then there really isn't any reason not to forge the evidence he's using to frame her with. But it is also possible that her family has been doing this shit behind her back. Both of those are honestly equally likely. Headmaster would be the only suspect who could have forged those papers. Not technically true, but he'd be the only one who'd have a reason to do so. I think it depends on, like, how formal these notes are. Because it's not like they're his incident reports and all this shit going down. There's also the evidence of academic dishonesty. It doesn't match up with what we heard from Miriam. You mean all that stuff about working with the Crowned Prince? She was probably just making things up to look good in front of me. I have an insight when it comes to things like this. Under normal circumstances, I can usually tell when someone is lying. And a lie as grandiose as that would be something I would definitely see through. People can subconsciously shield themselves from the Eye of Horus, even if they don't know about it. And when they do that, you usually can't see any thoughts from them. You also saw that she was lying about her encounter with Bellwether. You would have seen dissonant thoughts if she was lying about her grades. Well, I guess I'll trust your insight. But what does this mean? I don't know. Even with everything we've found, I'm still not sure who the real culprit is. At the very least, I think we should try to pull Miriam onto this. We should still try to pull Miriam onto the stand. If she testifies in court, I might be able to find something I can use. That's a big maybe. If you don't play your cards right, you might spook the Fregas enough for them to pay off the judge. Either way, it's getting late. We'll probably have to turn in soon. Yeah. We just hope you did enough to acquit Wallace. Oh, there's a save button right here. All right, we're going. We're going, chap. Court is now resumed for the trial of Wallace Nightgrave. Let us review the proceedings from— Wait, his name is Nightgrave? Guilty. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. It was revealed that the trace of necromancy may not have been left by the defendant. It may have been left by a witness who used necromancy to attempt to heal the victim. However, the victim was seen by witnesses well after her time of death. This could only be explained by the defendant using necromancy to animate the victim's body. This leaves the question, where did the murder take place? Feels like a non-standard game over warning. Does the prosecution have an answer for this? Based on the testimonies of several witnesses, it is very likely that the murder took place in the library. Interesting. What led you to this conclusion, Miss Steelwind? First, I'd like to remind the court where the victim was sighted before the body was found. It began when the victim had a meeting with the headmaster near the center of the building. The meeting was scheduled for 12 p.m. According to my schedule for that day, our meeting lasted for an hour. This brings us to the statement of our next witness, a student at the academy. The student saw the victim walking in the hallways. Saw her coming out of the headmaster's office. She was heading towards the library. Oh, the Spook the Fregus thing? Possibly. Oh, it makes sense, Owl. The library where we were locked in, we weren't locked in until after the murder. Or more accurately, after the body was found. Which means that our first witness saw Bellwether leave the headmaster's office. Presumably, this would have happened after her meeting there. That would time this encounter at around 1 p.m. The other event is the discovery of the body, which was when Valentina Yanis contacted security. I suddenly spotted the professor lying in a pool of blood in the classroom. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her. But we were still in there the entire time? That's true. That's why we know Wallace didn't do it. He'd been told about the attack on a faculty member. The fact that he'd have jumped to murder when they hadn't actually assessed the body by that point is alarming, but it's not like a got ya. It's the kind of shit Columbo would bring up like halfway through his investigation. As we've already established, this event occurred at 3:04 p.m.
But the significance of this time... No, he'd say it at the very end when the culprit's like, how did you know it was me? And he'd be like, well, it's very strange that you said there was a murder before you were told that she was dead. But the significance of this time is what occurred before the body was discovered. The second witness, a member of the cleaning staff, spotted the victim in the West Wing hallway.
Bellwether knocked over a vase, and there were shards and dirt everywhere. It's probably 20 to 30 minutes before the twins found the body.
No fucking way. No way. Chat, was she inside the armor? Was that how he transported the body? This means that this encounter must have happened no later than 2:30 p.m. And this implies that the victim was near the library between 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. According to the defendant's statements, he was in the library during this time period. Furthermore, the time of death was 2:07 p.m. This means that Mr. Hughes saw the victim's animated body.
I see. The deduction certainly tracks, Miss Steelwind. Guilty.
Hey, wait, what?
What do you have to say in your defense, Mr. Cuthbert?
The prosecution's argument is definitely well thought out, Your Honor. However, it is entirely predicated on the testimonies of all the witnesses involved. Steelman's deduction has to have a hole somewhere. Since your conversation yesterday, you've had a feeling that Miriam is hiding something. If you want to get to the truth, you'll need to drag that out of her through a cross-examination. Your Honor, to test the validity of these claims, the defense would like both of these witnesses to testify. The defense calls Miriam Frege to the stand.
Frege?
At the mention of her name, the judge's face turns a bit pale. I had a feeling it would come to this.
Do you have any objections, Miss Steelwind?
I do not, Your Honor.
Very well. Bailiff, please escort Lady Frege to the stand. Chat, we're so fucking cooked.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the... You little snakes! How dare you deceive me! Oh, looks like she found out. I had the opportunity to debrief the witness beforehand. Miss McCoy, for the record, I told you to exercise discretion. I did not mean that you should impersonate a member of my family. Yeah, sorry about that. I gave you all of the tea that I imported from the Eastern Kingdom. I demand that you return it to me. No, you gave them to me. They're legally mine now.
I couldn't keep up Celeste's voice. I was laughing too much about the lotus juice joke. Watch her actually be a member of the Steelwinds? Not impossible. I'm not sure what your business with the witness is, Miss McCoy, but I'd ask that you please handle your personal disputes outside of the courtroom.
Anyways, Miriam, could you please testify to the court about your encounter with the victim? Very well. I was working on a research project in my dorm room when I decided to take a break. I left my room and went on a walk. That's when I saw Professor Bellwether exiting the headmaster's office. She was walking in my direction, so I greeted her and she responded in kind.
That's a lie. Because we read her mind, so we know that's a lie, so that's what we press.
After that, she headed towards the library. A short time after that, I went back to my room and continued my work.
I see. So it was only a brief encounter.
You know what? Oh, where the hell is it?
Yeah, we're just gonna have to go through all of them manually, I guess. Ah! This is the one. Even... Oh, shit. Okay. I was wondering whether or not the construct, if we are assuming that is the construct, if it yelled to be quiet at Miriam, and I wondered if it was told to do that if anyone spoke to it. But Yan didn't say anything. I see, so it was only a brief encounter.
However brief it was, the witness testimony verifies two things. One is that Miss Frege saw the professor exiting the headmaster's office. The other is that she witnessed the victim head towards the library. This gives us a rough timeline of where the victim was before her death.
That does seem consistent.
Did Bellwether really enter the library that day?
The vase made a loud noise, though?
That's true. You feel like you would have seen her there if she did.
Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. It would be really funny if I could just be like, hey Miriam, I've got evidence in this case that someone was planning to frame you for murder. I need you to work with me on this one a little bit.
Press!
Did anything seem off about her?
No, but it was a very short encounter. It's not as if we stopped to have a conversation.
You said that you greeted her and she responded. What words did she use?
Why is that important?
Miss Frege, it's possible that someone used illusion magic that day. Every detail about the victim's interactions could be important.
Well, I bid her good morning, and she said good morning in response.
About that...
Objection!
Miss Frege, I'm not going to say you're full of shit, because I feel a little bad about the things that have happened to you lately.
A little bad?
Well, it'll make more sense when you find out the things I know were planned to happen to you that didn't. Miss Frege, if I recall correctly, you have a habit of getting absorbed in your work. So much, though, that you'll even lose track of time of day.
Yes, but what does that have to do with my testimony?
Earlier in today's proceedings, the prosecutor made the following argument.
Our first witness saw Bellwether leave the meeting with the headmaster at around 1 p.m.
Miss Frege, if you had said good morning to the professor, you would have been mistaken. Because that encounter could have only happened during the afternoon.
And your point is? You said it yourself, Miss Cuthbert. The witness simply lost track of time.
What the witness said isn't what's important here. The significance is what the professor said in response.
She had just come out of a meeting that was scheduled for noon.
She would well be aware it was no longer morning. So why would she respond good morning? Wouldn't she have corrected the witness?
Their encounter was extremely short. The victim's mind may have been preoccupied. She could have easily responded to the witness without thinking. I'm going to be honest, I kind of agree with her. It's not hard to believe they were both confused about the time.
It's definitely a stretch, but you still can't shake the feeling that she's hiding something. Every time you ask her about how Bellwether acted that day, the eye picks something up. There has to be something there. Miss Frege, you haven't been entirely truthful in your testimony, have you?
That's absurd. What reason would I have to lie? It's such a small detail. Why does he even care?
Every detail about how she acted is important, Miss Frege. What aren't you telling us?
Mr. Cuthbert, you have no basis to accuse the witness of perjury.
Yes, we'll stop this at once. Miss Frege, you're lying about how Bellwether responded to your greeting, aren't you?
This doesn't make a difference. All she did was yell at me.
She did was yell? Miss Frege, is it possible that Bellwether's response was less than friendly?
What do you care?
What difference does it make? My job is to make sure every part of your testimony is truthful. Every detail matters, no matter how seemingly insignificant. Mr. Cuthbert, you will stop this or I will fight you in contempt. The professor yelled at you, didn't she, Miss Frege?
So what if she did?
I'm sorry, but there's no going back on what you just said. So, you do admit that she yelled at you?
You impertinent little... Yes, I admit it. The professor didn't greet me back that day.
Oh, good morning, Professor. Be quiet. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
She yelled at me to be quiet. But until then, we have always been nothing but courteous with each other. I don't know what got into her that day, but something put her in a foul mood. But that's it. Everything else I said was the truth. I did see her come out of the headmaster's office and walk towards the library.
Wait.
So she wasn't lying about that. So is that all, Mr. Cuthbert?
What do you mean, is that all?
You badgered this witness, also you could prove what exactly?
Witness committed perjury.
The witness changed a small detail of her testimony.
Lock in Tyrion!
A detail that is inconsequential to this case. It was clearly an act with no malicious intent.
After seeing your thoughts, it's hard to disagree with that. You were so sure the eye would lead you somewhere, but Frege was only lying to save face.
The witness saw the victim leave the headmaster's office and head towards the library. Do you have any concrete evidence to refute that, Mr. Cuthbert?
No, I suppose I don't.
Wait, is this really okay? At this rate, this will be the only chance you have to cross-examine her.
I don't think she's lying anymore. And I was really pushing my luck earlier. If I continue pressing her, the judge might actually charge me with contempt. But if Miriam isn't the one that's lying, then... The defense has no further questions for the witness, Miss Steelwind.
The prosecutor stays silent for a while. She almost looks disappointed. Very well. Miriam, you are dismissed.
Arya thinks Miriam did it. Because the headmaster framed Miriam. And Arya knows that we will accuse nobles. So she was hoping we would take her down. Oh shit.
Miriam still looks like she's fuming, but she leaves the room without protest.
The judge breathes a sigh of relief as the noble is escorted out of the room.
Now with that out of the way, what else do you have, Mr. Cuthbert?
The only way to refute the prosecutor's theory is to cast doubt on one of the witnesses. If it wasn't Miriam, then... Steelwind, to test your theory, we'll ask Katniss and question every witness that saw the victim that day. So with that said, the defense would like to call Jan Hughes to the stand.
I hope you understand, Mr. Cuthbert. Your entire case rests on the assumption that one of the witness accounts is incorrect. If your cross-examination of Mr. Hughes leads nowhere, then I hope you're ready to concede.
I don't like the sound of it, but she's right. Unless you can find something in Yan's testimony, you won't really have anything to disprove her theory.
Bailiff, please bring in Mr. Hughes. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom.
Witness, name and occupation. Oh my god, his name is a pun on yawn. Fuck me. Ah, right. My name is Jan Hughes. I'm on the cleaning staff of the academy.
Mr. Hughes, please testify to the court about your encounter with the professor that day.
Sure. I saw the professor when I was cleaning the West Wing hallways. It was about 20 or 30 minutes before the body was discovered. She walked by me, but she looked pretty out of it. I heard she was undead when this happened. Pretty creepy if you ask me. After that, she went into the empty classroom. Well, that was straightforward.
Come on, Yan, what are we supposed to do with that?
I don't know. You guys are the lawyers. I'm just telling you what I saw. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Press this one. How are you so sure? That's not what I wanted you to say. I always check the time to make sure I'm on schedule. I'm a union man. I work to the hours. Supposed to finish cleaning the halls by 3.
Right, the body was discovered at 3:04. What was the professor like, Mr. Hughes?
Did anything else look off about her? I mean, yeah, she wasn't undead after all. That remains to be proven, if you say so. Anyway, what was her demeanor like? She looked like she was in a bad mood. Either that or she was tired. I guess she was just dead inside, literally.
I believe you've forgotten a few details about what the professor did.
Yeah? Sorry, it's hard to remember these things sometimes.
Did you hear her make any sounds?
Oh, yeah. After she knocked over the vase, she yelled at me to be quiet, but I didn't even say anything.
This detail could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony.
Whatever you say, man.
She yelled at me. Did I get her saying that she yelled that too? Or, oh, I bet. Cannot speak.
Objection!
Mr. Hughes, you said that Bellwether yelled at you. What were her exact words?
I think she yelled at me to be quiet.
What?
I thought it was weird. I didn't even say anything. But I know better than to talk back to her.
That's the thing, Hughes. The prosecution's theory is as such. The professor was murdered in the library and reanimated using animate corpse. With a quick illusion spell, no one would notice that she was undead. However, if what you saw was truly the undead Bellwether, how did she speak to you?
Huh?
This doesn't make any sense! Mr. Hughes, undead can follow simple orders, but they don't have the intelligence to speak. Perhaps the witness was mistaken.
No, I'm sure I heard her yell at me. I remember because what she said didn't make any sense.
Exactly. He didn't say anything, but she still yelled at him to be quiet.
Wait a minute. I'm afraid I don't understand. We've already established that the victim was dead long before her encounter with Mr. Hughes. But if what he saw wasn't an undead, then what was it?
It had to be an undead. What other explanation is there? It couldn't have been a major illusion. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to shove Jan out of the way or knock over the vase. Whatever it was, somebody probably used illusory disguise to make it look like Bellwether. Does that mean it was a person? No, if it was a person, how did Bellwether's body end up at the lecture hall? Bellwether wouldn't have been able to turn herself invisible if she was dead. Whatever Jan saw needs to be something that could have transported Bellwether's body unseen. Would have needed to have mass and the ability to speak. What created Bellwether's voice?
That's it! Do you have an answer for us, Mr. Cuthbert? What did the witness actually see?
Your Honor, the witness didn't actually hear the dead victim speaking. What he actually heard was her voice being recreated using magic. Are you trying to say her voice was recreated using a spell? Not a spell, Steelwind. It was artificery. And whoever the murderer is, they had the perfect piece of artificery available to them. One programmed with Catherine Bellwether's voice. You can't possibly mean... That's right, Steelwind! What Mr. Hughes saw was an arcane construct!
An arcane construct?
Think of it as a magically animated suit of armor, Your Honor.
But we ruled out such a possibility, hadn't we? Construct or not, no one could disguise themselves and carry the body to the classroom.
A person wouldn't have been able to do it. But arcane constructs are a different thing entirely. Those suits of armor are extremely large. But more importantly, they're hollow.
I see. That means that theoretically, someone could have placed the victim's body inside it.
The arcane construct wouldn't just transport the body. With an illusory disguise, it would also confuse and mislead anyone who saw it.
Objection!
Fuck! I commend your deduction, Mr. Cuthbert. I would have never considered that possibility. It's certainly plausible, but what does this prove exactly?
Ah, shit.
It proves that the body wasn't animated using necromancy. My client isn't the murderer. The defendant is still capable of performing all the acts that you described. His compendium contains illusory disguise, after all. There were several students in the library that day. Any of them could have committed the murder. One might come to that conclusion, if they didn't have one crucial piece of evidence. I'd like to present a new piece of evidence to the court. I've updated the autopsy report.
I do also appreciate the judge being intelligent.
Blood?
Is that...
Yes, Your Honor. This is the murder weapon.
Oh, shit.
She was saving that for the perfect moment, wasn't she?
She must be desperate if she's breaking this out.
This rapier was reported stolen by Miriam Frege weeks before the murder. And during the investigation, it was finally found in the defendant's locker.
Wait!
He was clearly trying to use one of her possessions in a paltry attempt to frame her. Why, he even stole her locker's nameplate and placed it over his. Damn it, that's not what happened.
But honestly, it sounds more plausible than what really took place.
Basically back to square one, aren't we? Anyone could have told that construct to do all those things. Wait, anyone? Is that really true? The construct transported the professor's body, but someone used an illusion to make it look like her. They even used a pre-recorded voice to make the illusion more convincing. Could anyone have done that? Several memories flood back to you. Mr. Hughes said about whether... be quiet. Tell to be by quiet. Yep.
quiet.
Sorry.
I completely forgot about this. God damn it, Eris. Can you, like, not... Yeah, she makes that face all the time. She didn't mind wipe me for that one. No, it can't be him.
What is it, Tyrion? Did you figure something out?
I did.
But he's seriously the one behind all of this?
Miss Steelwind. It wasn't saying be quiet back then. She said be quiet, and it recorded her.
Miss Steelwind. Earlier you said that my client could have orchestrated this entire ruse. But that's simply not true. How so? Anyone could have ordered the construct to carry out the victim's body. Yes, but not everyone can change what the constructs are able to say. Only one individual has the credentials for that. Theodore Redmond, headmaster of the Imperial Academy.
Wait, you're not serious, are you? You think the headmaster did all this?
I don't want to believe it. But he's the only person who could have done it.
That's completely ridiculous. Headmaster Redmond would never do something like this.
Miss Steelwind, there's one common element between each of the witnesses' encounter with Bellwether. It's what Bellwether said to them.
She yelled at both of them to be quiet.
Miriam Frege was particularly surprised. She had a good reputation with the professor. But when greeted by the professor, Bellwether just shouted at her. Almost as if the professor was responding indiscriminately. And recall her encounter with Jan Hughes. The professor knocked over a vase and shouted at him to be quiet immediately after, even though he hadn't said anything.
She was responding to the sound of the vase breaking.
Now let me ask you this, Steelwind. Where did Bellwether come from before she encountered Miss Frege and Mr. Hughes?
Her meeting
with the headmaster.
It appears that the defense truly means to indict Theodore Redmond. I know it's been a little bit since you said it, but yes, I do also appreciate that the judge is a smart guy. Like, he is not the easily misled dude from Ace Attorney. He's in a corrupt system, so he's not giving it his A game, but, like, man is at least paying attention. If so, we have no choice but to take a brief recess until he can be brought here. Go twiddle your thumbs or something. There's no need. It is me. I did it. I'm guilty. Fortunately for you, I'm already in the gallery.
The headmaster stood up from the gallery seats behind you and slowly walked onto the witness stand.
Has he been here the entire time?
No. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cuthbert. But do you think I am the one who committed this crime? I'm sorry, Redmond. But no matter how I look at it, everything I've found points to you. No. There's no need to apologize. In fact, I should commend you on the lengths that you are going to defend dear Wallace.
The court appreciates your understanding, Mr. Redmond.
Now then, to clear the air, I suppose I should give my testimony on what happened that day.
Why was he angry about that? What just pissed him off?
That day, I had a meeting scheduled with the professor at noon. She showed up at the expected time, and we discussed various administrative matters. Our meeting went on for an hour, after which she left to prepare for her next class. Despite our many disagreements, we still knew how to be civil with one another. After all, I had no reason to bear a personal grudge against her.
I just can't see it. He seems like such a nice person.
I'm not going to confess to save my student's life. He's trying to frame Miriam.
Is he really the person we're looking for?
He has to be. No one else could have orchestrated this entire plot.
We just need to find out how
and why.
So she showed up at exactly 12 p.m.?
More or less. Catherine Bellwether was many things, but she was never tardy.
He's angry again. There aren't any witnesses who saw her before the meeting, so you don't have a way to disprove what he's saying. Best to look elsewhere.
I wanted him to, like, ask about the administrative matters, to be honest. So that means the professor left your... Fuck! Ask about the meeting! God damn it! The headmaster is lying about when the meeting ended. There'd be no way to verify it. Which would account for the hour gap that Steelman mentioned. Damn it. Did the headmaster really do this? After hearing so much about her, I find that a little hard to believe. I can see why you'd say that. But despite everything, I was still her superior. She always remained professional when speaking with me. Is that really true, though? No, not that. No, I need to press something. Really? Even after the way she acted towards the students and faculty? Make no... Oh! Oh, I've got the evidence! Where is her plan? No. Bellwether's plan!
Objection!
Objection! You're full of shit! Redmond, did you really hold no animosity towards Professor Bellwether? Of course not. I did have strong opinions about her methods of teaching, but I always remained professional. We both did. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. In fact, I think you might have had a very good reason to murder the professor, considering that she was going to take your job. What? So, you knew about that. I'm sorry, but I don't follow. Just how was the professor going to take the headmaster's job? According to Miriam Frege, Catherine Bellwether was currying favor with the noble families. In fact, there was a plan to oust Mr. Redmond and appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster of the academy. What? But in any case, I doubt that the headmaster had any idea of this until now. I'd like to remind the court of the witness's reaction just now. He said, "So you knew about that." His reaction was one of surprise. But he wasn't surprised by this information. He was surprised that I knew this information. That's... Please, dear Arya. I may be a frail old man, but I'm perfectly capable of defending myself. If you have an explanation, Mr. Redmond, then by all means I'd love to hear it. Gladly. It is true that I knew about the Frege's plot beforehand, but I had only just learned about it. On the day of the murder, the professor told me about her plan. She was going to replace me as headmaster and replace the staff with our arcane constructs. Now you might say that this would have given me the perfect motive to murder the professor. However, the supposed murder weapon was stolen from Miss Frege. It happened weeks before the murder and my discovery of the professor's treachery. I had no knowledge of their plan before she told me, and therefore I wouldn't have known to steal Miss Frege's weapon in an attempt to frame her. Wow, buddy, I didn't even accuse you of that bit yet. Are you satisfied now, Mr. Cuthbert? There's no way that the headmaster could have come up with this plan. If he really did do this, that means he stole the rapier too, right? Most likely. His alibi makes sense. He couldn't have planned this whole thing unless he knew about Bellwether's plans. That would mean he knew about this weeks ago. But how did he even find out? The best way to tell a convincing lie is to leave a lot of truths and only change one detail. Maybe Bellwether did tell him, but she actually told him weeks ago. The question is, how do you prove that? Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Did it say that? Let's take a look. Yes!
Objection!
Fuck! Come on. Oh, I guess here.
Objection!
Oh, that would be a good point, Catnip. Redmond, you kept saying that you didn't know about Bellwether's plot before yesterday. Do you still plan on standing behind that claim? Of course I am, because it's the truth. I'm sorry, Redmond, but you should really close your doors during your meetings. What? Did someone see? It is true that Bellwether revealed her plan to you during one of your meetings. In fact, Yan Hughes happened to overhear that same meeting. But he only heard the part where the staff would be replaced. And that's the strangest part, Redmond. According to Mr. Hughes, this meeting occurred weeks ago! You can't accuse the headmaster of perjury based on a rumor. Everything you've just said is based on secondhand information. Mr. Hughes distinctly overheard that the staff would be replaced with arcane constructs. That is too specific and too accurate to assume that he misheard a different conversation. The professor probably only revealed her plan for the arcane constructs. This still doesn't prove he knew about her treachery beforehand. Professor Bellwether had no authority over the cleaning staff's employment. It wouldn't make sense for her to just reveal her plan for the arcane constructs. That would only make sense if he knew that Bellwether would be taking his job. So tell me one thing, Redmond. Why did you find the need to lie about this? Is it because you saw a need to protect yourself from my accusations? Redmond, I asked you a question. Did you murder Catherine Bellwether?
Oh! Oh, I love that sprite.
What a fine mess this is. I'm not done. Not yet. Headmaster? So, you truly plan on pushing this, are you? Well, your thesis sounded promising, Mr. Cuthbert, but I believe your arguments could use a little work. You think I killed Catherine Bellwether? Me? I am an elderly man in his late 80s. I was alone and had nothing to overpower Bellwether with. I can barely walk, much less wield a rapier. But you and Bellwether weren't the only people in that room, were you? You needed the arcane construct to carry Bellwether's body. That means that the construct would have already been in your office. And with your privileges, you could have easily programmed the construct to stab Bellwether for you. Even so, think about what would have transpired afterwards. Recall Miss Steelwind's timeline of Bellwether's witnesses. With your theory, the construct would have spent more than an hour in the library. Having it there would have risked my so-called ruse from being discovered. Luckily, Lady Frigga can't tell night from day. I wouldn't have the construct linger around the library. Do I have evidence? No, it has to be intuition. The timing deduced from Miss Frigga's testimony is predicated on one thing. She saw Miss Bellwether exit your office after your meeting. However, if we assume that you're lying about when this meeting ended, your entire argument falls apart. Miss Frigga would have encountered Bellwether after her death at 2:01. Miss Frigga wouldn't have made a mistake like that. She talks about making those mistakes all the time, man, come on. Miss Frigga thought it was morning when she saw Miss Bellwether. She can't reliably tell the time. Then what about where the rapier was placed? If I really was the murderer, that would mean I planted the weapon in young Wallace's locker. Several of the students had lockers there that I had access to. I wouldn't have placed incriminating evidence in that locker. Wallace is one of my prize students. If I had to frame anyone, he would be the last person I chose. Where is the lockers switching? Yes! You're right, Mr. Redmond. You wouldn't try to frame Wallace, but you would try to frame Miriam Frege! It would have been the perfect act of revenge, wouldn't it? You murder your treacherous co-worker and frame the daughter of the family that helped her. But something went wrong, didn't it, Redmond? The labels on Wallace's locker and Miriam's locker were switched. Anyone who saw that would have been easily mixed them up. I am the headmaster of the Imperial Academy. I have records of all the students' lockers and where they're located. There's no reason I would make a mistake like that. If I truly planned this, I would have known where Wallace's locker was. A simple change in labels wouldn't have led me to make a careless mistake like that. It's either this or the robot. No, that's not right. There's the... Thought so. But it wasn't you, was it? Your arcane construct was the one who planted the rapier in the locker. I bet you commanded it to place this rapier in the locker of Miriam Frege, but it saw the ID number on Wallace's locker and assumed it was Miriam's. This is... Redmond begins desperately stammering, looking for something to say. His confidence gauge isn't done yet. We're not finished, chat. Miss Steelwind, say something! What? Mr. Cuthbert, Excuse me. Mr. Cuthbert, your theory may be plausible, but there's no evidence to support it.
That's right. You don't have any proof, do you? There's no evidence of my orders. Saying that I could have committed the murder isn't the same as proving I did it.
Nope. Shit.
Yeah, I thought this would have the logs in it. You're right, Halerin, you're so right! Your arcane construct is still in the locker room where it planted the rapier. All we have to do is take a look inside it, and we'll see the blood inside. Is that so, Mr. Cuthbert?
What? Why does he still look so confident? No, Mr. Cuthbert, I already checked the inside of that construct during my investigation. The interior was completely clean. What?
The construct's primary function is to assist and clean, dear Tyrion. They have a function that allows them to clean themselves, inside and out.
Redmond, you just confessed without a lawyer.
Fuck!
Well, we can still look at its command history, right? Think about it, Mr. Cuthbert. Do you honestly think that the murderer would leave behind evidence like that? I'm sure that whoever orchestrated this plot, they ordered the construct to wipe its logs when it was finished. No!
That's right, Mr. Cuthbert. Your case against me is theoretical at best, but I suppose I can still give you marks for trying.
Damn it, he thought of everything. Was he seriously able to get rid of all the evidence?
You're running out of options, but you still have one tool left. It's unbecoming to glare like that, young Tyrion.
He's doing it again. Bring yourself back to that moment with Garrick Pierce. Think about what's at stake for Wallace, just like you did with Celeste. His life and future are in your hands.
Naught can remain concealed.
Empowered Eye!
You activated the Empowered Eye again. Redmond did a good job of covering his tracks, but there has to be something he forgot to get rid of.
Sword? Did everything I could to cast doubt on the Frega's brat. Can't believe Valerie placed a trace of necromancy on the body. To make matters worse, the construct placed the evidence in the wrong locker.
So he did send the construct to the locker to plant the evidence. He must have also fabricated the documents that accused Frege of cheating. It's all to make her look like the murderer. But this doesn't give you anything new to work with.
Well, I knew that. Called that one, chat. Shot called.
The construct's orders were clear. Plant the body in Lecture Hall 2B, and then plant the evidence in Frege's locker.
It was supposed to head to the storage room afterward.
What happened? Interesting. The construct wasn't supposed to be in the locker room.
This is all the nobility's fault. This whole time they were plotting to throw me out. It's their fault that Bellwether is dead, not mine. Our blood is on the hand of the Fregas and the Steelwinds.
Oh.
Nope. Same thing. Okay. Nope. Same thing.
So he gave it orders to go to the storeroom after it planted the evidence.
The smell? Sure. I wonder, did I leave any other pieces of evidence behind? It was far too reckless. But I needed some way to keep that lecture hall empty.
Oh, right. He must have botched the alchemy experiment on purpose to keep the lecture hall cleared.
And that doesn't really tell you anything you can use right now. Good idea, Catnip, and an interesting detail about the case, but,
Why am I thinking of this now?
yeah, okay. Construct. My illusion should have been flawless. I can't believe this boy was able to deduce what happened. I had to do everything I could to shift guilt away from myself. Did I didn't leave any holes in my alibi? No, I accounted for everything. There's no way I left evidence behind.
Construct's orders were clear. Plant body, plant evidence in Frega's locker. What's the evidence in the locker? What if I use this? Nope. Steelwind's orders? No, that happened later. Oh, the illusion! Nope, that doesn't help. Construct. What do I have from the locker room? Why was the construct in the locker room, though? It shouldn't have been there if it had followed my orders. No matter, it wiped its logs. They have nothing on me. So he did order to wipe its... Yep, right before he said it, I figured it out. If it didn't go through with that command... I tried the evidence of academic dishonesty, but he would have had to have it wipe the logs last, which means that if one of the commands went wrong, the logs haven't been wiped. Wait. You ordered the construct to go to the storage room. It would have done that after it was finished planting evidence in the locker room, but we found it in the locker room. What stopped the construct from leaving the locker room? The lockdown! Right. The body was probably reported earlier than Redmond expected. This means he probably started the lockdown before the construct was finished in the locker room. How did the lockdown affect the construct's actions? Redmond's series of commands was interrupted by the lockdown. Wait a minute. In the order that they are given, but let's say one of those tasks is impossible to complete. When the construct gets to that task, it will deem the entire series impossible to complete. As a result, it will stop executing the series altogether. So if a task in a series of commands is impossible, then that command will interrupt the entire series. The construct's final command was to wipe its memory. But if its orders were interrupted by the lockdown, then... Miss Steelwind, I have nothing more to ask this witness. What? You're not giving up, are you? Do you even have to ask? Yeah, I thought so. How are you going to prove he did it if he's not testifying? Don't worry. The next witness's testimony will be all I need. Next witness? That look on your face isn't one of defeat. Just what are you planning? It's nothing but desperate bravado. Now, if you'll excuse me. You've let your quarry get away, Mr. Cuthbert. I hope you know what you're doing. I do, Miss Steelwind. First, I'd like for the Inquisition to bring in the Arcane construct in the Academy's locker room. We've already established that the murderer could have wiped its history. Please, just humor me for a second, Miss Steelwind. Very well. Bailiff, please relay Mr. Cuthbert's request to Commander White. Call a parrot to the stand? Whack! Call a whale to the stand? Whack! We call robots to the stand! Well, here's your construct. I hope you know what you're doing, Mr. Cuthbert. Construct, what are your orders? Please recite your command history. Reporting, Command 1, stand by in Headmaster's office. Both of those things actually happened in Ace Attorney, Halloran. Command 2, await focal signal, attack from Theodore Redmond. You hear Redmond stand up from the gallery. Seeing this, the prosecutor watches him and carefully clutches the handle of her cane. Command 3, treat Catherine Bellwether as a hostile entity and neutralize. Construct, wipe your hold! Before he can finish his sentence, the prosecutor points her cane at the headmaster. Magical energy shoots from it and collides directly with him. The magic wreaths around his body and stops him from moving. He's clearly trying to struggle against it, but it looks like he can't even move his mouth. Miss Steelwind! Excuse the interruption. Please continue. Command 4, await vocal signal, leave, from Theodore Redmond. I know that it's supposed to be Catherine Bellwether, but I'm not stopping this voice. Command 5, move to classroom 2B, reply to any inquiries with voice line number 3. Command 6, remove Catherine Bellwether from interior frame and place on floor. Thank you, Construct. You can stop now. I think we all know the rest. But just to be clear, who gave you this series of commands?
Commands were provided by Headmaster Theodore Redmond. How? I ordered the construct to wipe its command history!
Mr. Redmond, constructs don't follow the same logic that humans do. They're prone to error when their commands are impossible to execute.
Impossible? In what way were my commands impossible?
You were the one that made it impossible. You activated the lockdown system.
The lockdown?
The body was found earlier than you'd like. You had no choice but to immediately activate the lockdown system when it was reported. However, the construct was still in the locker room when you did this.
So that's why it was there.
The construct finished its tasks in the locker room, but then it tried to follow your next command. It tried to move to the storage room, but it was prevented from doing so.
Completion of that command was impossible, so the series of commands was stopped before it wiped its history. You little... Theodore Redmond, you ordered your construct to murder Catherine Bellwether. Then you had it place the murder weapon in a locker to frame Miriam Frege. And we have your construct's testimony to prove it. And that's checkmate.
I can't believe it. How could you do something like this, Headmaster?
She was going to take everything from me. My position, my academy, my students. We still don't know what Ruby Tamora was up to at the academy. Well, in the first case, she was meeting with someone else who hates the nobility. So presumably she was meeting with Redmond because he hates the nobility. Everything would be gone. It was going to be stolen by her and the Freges!
Why didn't you say anything to me? I could have...
Don't you dare stand there and act ignorant, Lady Steelwind! Do you think the Freges acted alone? Your father was a part of this plot, too!
What?
I have nothing to say to you.
I thought you were different.
I listened to your lies about societal reform. In the end, you were just like the rest of the aristocracy. By the Scaled Lord, what have I done? I was even willing to sacrifice poor Wallace. I can't believe I... Why did I listen to... Why did I do this? Did you see that, chat? Looks like we've got bigger fish to fry. It appears we have a full confession. Court sees no reason to prolong this any further. Bailiff, please escort the witness to a holding cell. Eris did tell us she was watching the trial. I guess this is why. Mr. Cuthbert, you really did it.
It feels amazing, right? Like a big weight being lifted from your shoulders.
It does, but I can't believe the headmaster was the one who did this.
Right. Despite everything Redmond did, he was the one that allowed Wallace to pursue his dreams.
I'm sorry. I'm sure this is bittersweet for you. What am I going to do now? Headmaster Redmond was the only reason I could even attend the academy. With him gone.
Come on, don't think like that. You got acquitted. I'm sure it'll all work out.
Wallace is gonna have some serious issues over his only father figure doing this to him? Yeah! You want to agree, but necromancy is basically taboo. Without Redmond's support, there aren't many places he could learn it legitimately. And then there's the Imperial Academy.
Hey, don't you get all sad on me too.
Sorry, I was just thinking. With Redmond gone, the Fregos will probably just appoint another sycophant as the headmaster. Valentina, Valerie, and Yan are all going to lose their jobs.
Come on! You found the truth and you put a murderer behind bars. You saved Wallace.
She's right. As you start to exit the courtroom, you're greeted by Miss Tamora. Was she in the gallery this entire time?
At the end of the day, you saved Wallace from a wrongful conviction. You should be proud of yourself for that.
I suppose you're right. Maybe I am just overthinking things. The doubt still lingers in your mind.
Now come on! I'm taking Wallace to that restaurant we went to last time.
Do you remember how much that place cost?
Don't worry, I have plenty of gold.
Am I the only one on this team not making any gold?
Why don't you meet us there, Celeste? I need to talk with Tyrion for a moment. Alright, let's go, Wallace.
Okay.
You activated the empowered eye again, didn't you?
She doesn't appear to be praising you.
I did. Didn't really have a choice. The Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion. That's twice now you used the empowered eye to get out of a tough spot. You can't keep relying on it if you want to grow as an attorney. One day you'll find a witness that the empowered eye won't work on.
It's worked for me this far, though. But I suppose you're right. I'll try to rely on it less next time. Of course Wallace was blushing. He's 16! And that marked the end of another case in my career as a defense attorney. Another life saved, and another murderer brought to justice. But I still couldn't shake this feeling of uneasiness. Was it guilt for what would happen to the faculty staff? Or was it something else? Man, Steelwind has been talking with the perp for hours. That's not my voice for you. Come on, I can do better. Man, Steelwind has been talking with the perp for hours. What's there even to ask at this point? Turns out she doesn't trust his testimony. Something about his memories not matching up with the crime scene. You don't think he has mage blight, does he? No, it's not that. She found that damn symbol etched into his desk. Or what did she call it? The purple mark? Oh, for the love of... Not this again. Look, if the little lady wants to chase the boogeyman, just let her. At least this time she's doing it personally instead of dragging us into it.
Cast sleep.
Hey! What's up with...
Who did this to your desk?
What has gotten into you? I've already admitted to everything. What more could you possibly want from me?
Where did this graffiti come from? What is this symbol? What is the purple mark?
I don't know. A student must have done it at some point.
Think very hard, Headmaster. When did you receive this purple symbol? Focus on the moment you received this.
Wait a minute. I remember it now. But how? Lady Steelwind! Lady Steelwind! Arya, what happened? Are you okay?
That was close. My elation over meeting him almost made me forget.
Eris, what are you doing here? Why? Wait, I remember now. It was you. You put those ideas into my mind. You're the one who told me to murder Bellwether.
Oh, you humans never fail to amuse me. I didn't make you do anything. Everything you did that day, all the planning, all the preparation, that came from your own mind. And I have to say, I was quite entertained with the scheme you came up with. Why, you even broke into Miriam's room. I didn't know you had it in you, old man.
You made me forget about our conversation. How? Illusions can't affect the mind. Magic can't affect the mind.
It's a shame, though. I would have much rather turned Wallace into the antagonist of this chapter. Could you imagine if he turned? It would have been spectacular. Armies of the undead running rampant through the streets. But alas, even I couldn't corrupt his pure soul.
Answer me. Who are you? What are you?
Who am I? I'm the Lord of the Sixth Circle.
Well, chat, that's the end of the stream. See you next time. That was Tyrion Cuthbert. This has been Deus Verb.